Yeah, I'm a body, I'm a body, I'm a body. Look, Galatians 5 and 25. If we live in the spirit, let us also walk in the spirit. I'm talking about, I ain't moving off height. I'm moving off him. I'm a body, but I'm locked in. Let go. My body filled up, I ain't lacking. Holy Spirit slid, had me dancing and attacking. Devil in the way, then you know we get to clapping. Ephesians 6, so the whole squad packing. I'm on my body, I be walking in the flame. Isaiah 54, ain't no weapon got a name. Moving in the spirit, I ain't worried about the shame. Covered in the blood, I be stepping unashamed. I be stepping like David, got the praise in my feet. Had to kick a lie, trying to whisper in my sleep. Every move, holy led, I don't dance all beat. I be shouting in the spirit while I slide on the seat. On like Paul, when I pop out, I'm protected. Tried to flex and flesh, had to learn I was rejected. Now I'm spirit checked, I ain't moved by affection. Lieutenant 19, not your surface with no question. I was down bad, now I'm up in my zone. Took the devil's lies, turned them all into poems. I'm out of my body, but I'm right where I belong. Chanting hallelujah with the squad to the throne. My body filled up, I ain't lacking. Holy Spirit sleep, had me dancing and attacking. Devil in the way, then you know we get to clapping. Ephesians 6, so the whole squad packing. I'm on my body, I be walking in the flames. Isaiah 54, ain't no weapon got a name. Moving in the spirit, I ain't worried about the shame. Covered in the blood, I be stepping unashamed.
Pressure cut the diamonds on my wrist. Pressure cut the diamonds on my gift. Yeah, pressure turn me up into a pit. Pressure turn me down so you can turn up. And when you turn up, they all gonna burn up. Lord, you said that my parents was gonna be here. I don't know what they mean when they try to team. We get to dumping like some fiends when you move a sling. Bible told her, big body floater. Let your light shine everywhere I go to. Let your light blind everyone who go to dark places. Let them see their own faces in them crawl spaces. I keep it way too much OG, my nigga. Tell me, how do you consider it's gon' be, my nigga? Ain't gon' go down that way. Yahweh, or no way. Yahweh, or no way.
My body filled up, I ain't lacking. Holy Spirit sleep, had me dancing and attacking. Devil in the way, then you know we get to clapping. Ephesians 6, so the whole squad packing. I'm on my body, I be walking in the flames. Isaiah 54, ain't no weapon got a name. Moving in the spirit, I ain't worried about the shame. Covered in the blood, I be stepping on the
shame. Yeah. Welcome to the Lions Den, man. Welcome to the Den. Tap in, tell a friend. My name is JJ7000, the most feared debater on this planet. You know what I'm saying? We got a great show for you tonight. We got it's more and more crime, ladies and gentlemen. I ain't never seen this in my goddamn life, except one time when the older debaters commissioned to Harker Bay went to war. Now we got another war. We got another war, and there's more and more. There's gonna be more information, more blood blasts, more goddamn it information that you probably never heard before in your goddamn on life, man. Shout out to Sister Karima, man. Hey, we finna get this debate going. We're streaming on JJ7K TV and the Lions Den. Also, some of us are streaming on Facebook. So hit that like, share, and subscribe. You know what we do over here. This is the home of the real information. This is not an echo chamber. Everybody from all walks of life come over to the Lions Den. That's how we built our family. That's why we're still here. So like I said, before we get into it, we got to introduce the queen of the Lions Den. I'm talking about Sister Karima. Go ahead, queen.
That's right. Y'all already know what to do. If you like the information that's being presented tonight, please hit the like, share the information, and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Hope you enjoy the information. It's not just about Moors, but it's kind of like, both. So it's going to be real interesting. They're talking about the Lord of the Hosts.
That's right, Lord of the Hosts. Ma'aki, Moor Judicator versus Orthodox Moor. You know, these two brothers have come together, and I'm glad they put this together as a debate. You know, they got past the preliminary. It was a pretty good preliminary, so I'm looking forward to this. You know, uh, so what I like to do is introduce the panel. My brother 3BL is in the building. You know what I'm saying? New member to the Lions Den family. Welcome, sir. It's my first time meeting you. But go ahead and introduce yourself. Tell everybody where they can find you on Facebook, or if you got a YouTube channel. Go ahead, Aki. Excuse me, 3BY projection. My fault.
Oh no, it's all good. Shalom. Yeah, it's your boy Emmanuel Holloway. A few of y'all may already know who I am. I'm representing 3BY. That's a independent camp originated out of Jackson, Mississippi. We got a few brothers out of state as well. We also associate or affiliate with a few of the barbarians. We study with a few brothers. You know what I'm saying? We even study with a few Hebrew Israelite camps. But not necessarily having a set doctrine. Brothers just pretty open and going line by line off the scriptures. And like I say, if anybody is in need of any screen sharing needs or projection anytime you having a debate, all I ask is that you donate to the cause. Hit me up directly. Let me know a good amount of time ahead of time, and feel free, man. Brothers bound by Yahweh. Shalom.
Yeah, man, Jackson, Mississippi in the building. You hear me? That's where my roots come from. You hear me? So, my mama, my grandma, my great grandma, my granddad, Jackson, Mississippi. Crystals for a quarter. When I was out there in Jackson, Mississippi, Crystals for a quarter, Jackson State. You hear me?
Yes, sir.
I know all about it. I'm first generation Illinois. The rest of my family, Jackson, Mississippi.
Yeah, you know how it goes. That's the pipeline right there.
I know what. Yeah, I know what plantation my family was on. You understand me?
Yeah. All praise.
Yeah, that's how I connect to the Mandinka. Yeah, Hayes clan, part of the Mandinka. One of the sub-clans. That's for another time and another day. We got two heavy hitters in the building, man. I want everybody to take notes. Grab a paper, grab a pen. We're gonna let the scholars get it in. That's right. We're in the Lions Den. So man, it's gonna be interesting. I'm gonna go ahead and let the Moorish judicator, the Moorish barbarian, Apollo Bay. He ran Jeremiah's off from this debate. So I'm glad that Orthodox Moor showed up. So go ahead, Apollo Bay.
Shalom, peace to the panel. This is the Moorish barbarian. You know what I'm saying? Representing that barbarian life, that 3BY life. You know what I'm saying? That Lions Den life. You know what I mean? I'm here to, get it on with my brother, Orthodox Moor. We're going to have a good debate. You know what I'm saying? And, I feel sorry for his presentations. I'm going to stop playing. But I'm going to end it right there. Hand it over to the brother.
Well, before you do that, man, would you want to go ahead and do your opening? Or you want to introduce first, and then we'll do that? Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Anonymous Hebrew. All right, peace and blessings to everybody that's watching out there. Like I say, we got the Moors in the building, the Orthodox Moor, the Moors judicated. They were judicated and Orthodox in the building. You hear me? So what we're gonna do? We're gonna let the Orthodox Moor come on in. He's from the Genesis 49er clique. Go ahead, Aki. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, peace. What is it's your brother Tyvon Swing, LAK, the Orthodox Moor. Yeah. From Yap Gang and a bunch of other cliques, you know what I'm saying? Shout out to Lions Den for hosting the debate. Wow. Shout out for Apollo Bay for showing up. And real quick, before we even start the debate, I want to give an apology to Brother Apollo Bay because we've had a few interactions and on one or two of them I've turned up on the brother. And so I want to apologize for man to man, you know what I'm saying? For that interaction and whatnot, and I do not plan on having any kind of interactions like that here. I want to keep this as a brotherly debate, keep it to the information, you know what I'm saying, keep it on the up and up and whatnot. Keep it respectful.
Respect, brother.
Hey, brother Orthodox, man, you might have to speak up just a little bit. You're sounding a little low. Just for FYI, you know.
How's that?
Yeah. That's better. Connect with your audience. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So what we got here, man, is what we're gonna do. We got these brothers. They have already set up how they want to do the format. I think it was three 10-minute rounds. 10-minute rounds.
So we're gonna start off with a 5 to 7 minute opening.
All right, yeah, go ahead and tell the format, man.
And then we have 10 to 15 minute premise rounds and rebuttal rounds, and then we have a 10-minute Q&A. Then we have a 5 to 7 minute closing.
Okay. Say that one more time. Morris Judicator. So you on page with him? So it's documented.
Say that one more time so I could catch it all.
Okay, 5 to 7 minute opening. I think he said 10-minute premise. And then what was it? You said 10-minute.
It was
premise?
10 to 15 minute premise because the brother wanted a 5-minute slide on that. So it was 10 to 15 minute premise, 10 to 15 minute rebuttal, 10-minute Q&A, and 5 to 7 minute closing.
Okay, so okay, got you. 7-minute, 5 to 7 minute opening, 15-minute premise, 15 minute, up to 15 minute rebuttal, and then 7-minute close. Let's get it. So who going? So
I'm the affirmative, so I'm going first.
Okay, there we go. All right, so go ahead. So whenever you're ready, Karima got the clock. The brother 3BY is up here to share the screen for my brother Apollo Bay. Let's get ready to do this, man. Everybody, honest, be respectful. Hope y'all learn from this. Because at the end of the day, we all winners because we're edifying the body. Some of us agree over here, you're edifying them. Some of us agree over here. So, you know, there is never a unanimous decision in a debate. So I want both. And the great part about this, you ain't got to worry about no judges or no goddamn on polls. So you can let your hair down. Just be respectful. Let's get it.
So y'all can see the screen.
Yep. So, Kareem, I'll let you know when to start.
I'm going to start right now.
Right,
so the title of this debate is the Ancient of Days the Lord of Hosts? I am emphatically saying yes, family. This conversation started on Judah Nazareth channel. Shout out to the Tor Knights. Then the conversation moved over to the Lions Den Debate League, where we had a couple of conversations and whatnot. Introduced into those conversations via scriptural text and source material were the scriptures you see on your left from the Holy Bible, along with the Strong's Concordance commentary as used on blueletter.org, the Aramaic Bible, the Holy Quran, the Circle 7 Quran, the Moorish Questionnaire, and the brother brought up Egyptian literature. Based upon those conversations, what I was able to ascertain about the brother's position was Apollo Bay believes that the Ancient of Days and the Lord of Hosts are two separate entities. He believes that the Ancient of Days is consistent with Yahweh Elohim, Elyon El, is the Father, is not a king, is the creator, and is invisible. He believes that the Lord of Hosts is consistent with Yahweh in the singular, Elohim in the singular, Allah from the Quran, is the Son, i.e. also Son of Man, etc., is the king, and he has this concept of the king being the Malak Yahweh, and is an instrument of creation, and is the Messiah. The theological hierarchy I'll be representing here will be that the Ancient of Days and the Lord of Hosts are the same entity and is consistent with Yahweh Elohim, Elyon El, Allah, Adonai, is the Father, is the King and source of dominion, is the Creator, is never a son, is never a prince, is never an instrument of creation, and is seen through his emissaries. I'll also be representing that Elohim can be either the Father or his emissaries whenever you see it in the text. Premise 1, the Ancient of Days and the Lord of Hosts share the same ontology, meaning the same nature and attributes. Premise 2, the Ancient of Days and the Lord of Hosts both operate at the top position of the theological hierarchy within the text, i.e. with no deity above or beside. Premise 3, the Ancient of Days and the Lord of Hosts don't share the ontology of their emissaries, i.e. are never textually referred to as either sons or princes, etc. Conclusion, the Ancient of Days equals the Lord of Hosts, is the Lord of Hosts. Counter premise 1, Apollo Bay arrived at his unique Benitarian conclusion by isolating verses from their scriptural context. Counter premise 2, Apollo Bay also arrived at his conclusion by introducing foreign concepts from unauthorized text, unauthorized via his own tradition as a Moorish American Muslim. Counter premise 3, Apollo Bay through eisegesis and conflation of text is cherry picking making false equivalencies, and repeatedly offering false binary choices and false dichotomies, all of which are fallacious arguments. Conclusion: Apollo-based theological hierarchy and unique Binitarianism are built on fallacious argumentation. Questions Apollo Bay must answer during the course of this debate. 1. If David, Jesus, and angels are all called princes, who is their king? Question 2. When is the Lord of hosts ever called the Son of Man, a prince, or the Malach Yahweh? Question 3. Once you claim divine plurality, how do you limit that plurality to just two beings via the text? Question 4. Once you claim that the Father has emissaries, i.e. has an instrument of creation, etc., how do you limit those emissaries to just one being via the text? Question 5, and most important, what is your methodology? Via proper Moorish American methodology, we see this via the Moorish literature, that the Quran is the ruling power and authority over the custom of Muslims. So one should be using the Quran as the ruling authority and governing authority over their customs in this conversation, right? When I go to the Quran of Muhammad, it specifies this, that if I'm in doubt about what I'm reading in the Quran and I don't know about the revelation therein, I'm supposed to go to the previous scriptures or the previous reminder for clarity. It also stipulates this in the same Quran, right? And Surah 5, it says this, that I'm meant to judge by Allah's books, i.e. the Torah and the Injil and the Quran. And if I don't, then I am a disbeliever and defiantly disobedient, that I'm a kafir and a fasik. It also stipulates this in the Quran in many, many places, the concept of what Allah's hadith are and what hadith we take after this. It specifies that Allah's verses are his hadith and not man saying. So any introduction of outside books from those previous scriptures I just mentioned, or any introduction of any hadiths outside of the Quran or previous scriptures or verses of Allah, are not considered valid via this conversation. Again, with the Holy Bible, you also get this concept like, so again, if I'm going to the previous scripture to get clarity, it also tells me this once I get there. Don't add or don't take away from the law and from the prophetic books. It's very clear about this. So I have a clear methodology. I'm supposed to go to the previous scriptures. A, start off with the Quran as my ruling authority in terms of customs. 2, if I have any questions about the Quran, go to the previous scripture for clarity. And 3, when I get there, don't add and don't take away from the law or the prophetic books. Debate disclaimer. This debate isn't about Binitarianism versus Unitarianism. This debate isn't about who is the real Moorish American Muslim, etc. This debate is about walking our paradigms out to their logical ends and through the gauntlet of textual evidence to see where the truth and falsehood lies. This debate is about properly identifying the Ancient of Days and the Lord of Hosts via consistent methodology. Why is this debate important? Noble Ali didn't teach his followers to argue with Israelites over non-scriptural Binitarian doctrine. Noble Ali's message for Israelites was to prepare to meet their coming king and to do so by purifying themselves, as can be seen on the verses on the screen. These verses are from the Circle 7 Quran themselves, right? Talking about prepare to meet your king, etc. This readiness is purity of heart. None but the pure in heart can recognize the king. And you shall say, you men of Israel, hear, reform, and wash, become the sons of purity, and you shall be forgiven. The Quran of Mecca, the Quran of Muhammad. Thank you very much. The Quran of Mecca and the Quran of Muhammad tells Israelites to remember their covenant, remember the Messiah, remember their Sabbaths, and remember the scripture. Remember their scripture, right? Again, like I mentioned, the Torah, as mentioned in Surah 5 or whatnot, right? This is a very important conversation, because instead of having this conversation with the people, my brother was out there arguing over this Binitarian doctrine. So hopefully we can get him past that and get him back to his prophet's message going forward. But with that, I relinquish that balance of my time. I'll say peace and love.
All right, great opening round from the Orthodox Moor. He laid out his premise. Y'all see the direction he's headed in this debate. Now up next to the plate, we got the Moorish Judicator representing the Barbarians. Go ahead, get your screen up here and let Karima know when you're ready.
Wow. I'm gonna tell y'all right now, like, yo, y'all gonna really think that I was sitting watching him put this together. The way this is gonna play out, man. Y'all gonna think that I was cheating.
All
Could
right,
you
go
go to
yeah, go get your screen, family.
yeah, so I'm gonna start this off with the Aramaic Bible in plain English. I'm gonna start it off with Revelations 22 and 16. Now my screen is on my I'm doing this from my phone, so I can't see this. I couldn't put this in my PowerPoint because it was too big for the little window. So I'm gonna have my reader, you know what I'm
Yeah, you
saying,
have
read
him
it for you.
read it for you or share the screen. Okay, here we go. All right, Karima, let him know when he can start.
So I
Okay,
want you to start at
your turn.
16.
You're okay. You're not ready yet. Let me know. Unmute your mic.
All right. You want me to read it for you too, Apollo? Is Apollo mic muted?
Yeah, my mic's muted. I need you to back out and I need you to put second, I mean Revelations 22 in the Aramaic Bible. You don't got the right one up.
Revelation 22. Okay.
Then type that in first and then put it in. Yeah, here we go. You know, I'm gonna go ahead in this debate right here from the beginning. I'm gonna start it off right now. You know what I'm saying? Go straight for his neck. Could you read that, brother?
Okay. So your time starts now. So you have to unmute your mic. Come on. I ain't started yet.
Okay. You can hear me now. It says, I, Yeshua,
Yep, I
have
can hear
sent
you.
my
So your time starts now.
I, Yeshua, have sent mine angel to testify these things among you before the assemblies. I am the living God, the root of the offspring of David, and his companion, the bright morning star.
Now, right there, we can see this is in the Aramaic Bible in plain English for anybody that wants to look this up. But we can see right now it's already over. This debate is already over. For the rest of the debate, I'm just going to be relaxing, just giving him precept upon precept. You know what I'm saying? Like, so could you drop down to number 20 and read it for him before we start getting at him?
And it says, and when he testified these things, he said, yes, I am coming soon. Come, Lord Yahweh, Yeshua.
So right there, I'm putting it all together. I done showed him that, you know what I mean, the Messiah's name with Jehovah on it. I showed him that he's the living God. And now I'm about to show him within my, my slides who the angel is that he went to go sin. Because at this point, if the Messiah is sending angels, and we already know who's the only type of person that could send an angel, it's basically the scripture is speaking for itself. Right. So hold on one second. Stop my time. Could you go to my slide now?
First slide.
Yeah, first slide.
Gotta switch the screen share real quick.
Basically, I answered all of his questions that he had in his intro, right? Well, my first two slides basically, you know what I mean, answered all of his questions. My fault. I'm sorry, y'all. Before we get to this, could you go back into that same Bible? I forgot. We got to go to 2 Philippians 5-11. I'm sorry, y'all. But like I said, right now I'm just relaxing. It doesn't matter what he says after this point. You know what I mean? Every slide that I show him is just going to be, too much for him. For anything that he got to say, I'm going to answer all of his questions.
There it is. And what verse?
5-11.
It says, "And reason in your souls this, that also Yeshua the Messiah did. He who, while he was in the form of God, did not esteem this as a prize, that he was the equal of God, but he stripped himself and took the form of a servant, and was in the form of the children of men, and was found in fashion as a man." You want me to
Could you
continue?
read down to 11?
And he humbled himself and was obedient unto death, even unto death, and being crucified. But of this God has also greatly exalted him, but he has given him the name which is greater than all names, that in the name of Yeshua every knee shall bow, which is in heaven and in the earth and which is under the earth, and that every tongue shall confess that Yeshua the Messiah is the Lord Yahweh, to the glory of his God, to the glory of God his Father.
All right, right there, that's basically saying everything that was what happened, right? We have Yeshua, who was God, who stripped himself down to humans, took a form of men, right? Then he even got exalted by the Father, who I'm saying is the Ancient of Days. So I'm showing you who Yahweh is. It's saying it right here. Now he's going to have to fight all of these scriptures that I just showed him, right? And I got plenty more. I got a whole 60 clip for him. But at this point, he's fighting from the bottom because I'm the negative. I only got to show him one time who's who and what's what. But we going to get into this king thing, right? And we going to make sure that it's understood for the people what's going on here, right? How much time do I got, Karima?
You still got 5 minutes and 24 seconds. Sorry.
No doubt. Now you could go to the slides and we could get to this. Because I'm gonna be clear with everything that I'm saying, right? He had questions. I got answers. So at the end of the day, he got to deal with this. And I don't know what he's talking about, like how I'm going against, you know what I mean, the more American understanding of this. Because that's going to even get uglier. All right, hold on. So we got Jude 1 in the ESV, right? And this is clear. Look how clear this is, right? Now I want to remind you, right? Although once you fully knew it, that Jesus, who saved the people out of the land of Egypt, afterward destroyed those who didn't believe. So right there, that's telling you who took the children out of Israel, and then in the wilderness who was dealing with them, right? There's many scriptures that back this up. I'm just showing you that if you read it in the King James, the King James dumbs them people down with the putting lore in every place when there should be names, right? I'm showing you clearly in the English Standard Version of the Bible what it's saying, right? It's clear who brought the people out of Egypt, right? This is clear. Go to the next slide. Go to the next slide.
I stopped the time.
You might have to yeah. So right here, I got different translations of the Jude 1 and 5, right? For the people, so you could just see that I'm not just cherry picking one translation, right? I got the New Living Translation, right? And I got another translation, right? So at this point, I'm just showing you that it's not just one. Now we go to the next slide. Now this is what everything that we're dealing with, right? This is the verse that's in question right here, right? And once I break this down to him, there's going to be no way that he could get around this, right? So it starts, I behold, till the thrones were cast down, and the Ancient of Days did sit, whose garment was white as snow, and his hair was on his head was like pure wool. His throne was a fiery flame, and his wheels were burning fire. So right here we got the Ancient of Days. The first time that he's being introduced to the Bible under such name is the title of this debate, right? I done already showed him who the Lord of the host is, clearly. But it's going to get even clearer when I get through these next couple slides, right? Because our whole debate was, are these two separate, right? He's saying that they're the same, right? And when you say that they're the same, you're doing a lot of things. It makes you not be able to understand the scriptures. Because when I take him to the next verse, which makes it clear, right? We go to the next verse, to the next slide. So clearly, right? We in Daniel 7:10 in the KJV. And a fiery string was issued and came forth before him. Thousands and thousands ministered unto him, and 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him. The judgment was set, and the books were opened. If anybody knows anything about the Bible, this is talking about Revelations, right? That's why I took him to Revelations first and showed him in Revelations 22 and 16 with that saying, right? It's all leading back to Revelations. So at the end of the day, we know who opened the book in Revelations. Like, for me to take him right there and show him who's dealing with the book in Revelations, that's the same Son of Man that's in the next couple verses that I'm about to show him, it's just like it's going to be a redundant point. That's why I had to pick out certain points so I could get my message clear, right? And it's very clear. Every slide that I'm showing him is going to be clear, right? To the next slide. Now, here we got the Ancient of Days. I'm showing you that it's an Aramaic word, right? The Ancient of Days isn't even a Hebrew word, it's Aramaic. So when I went in the Aramaic Bible and showed and read that to him, everything's lining up, right? We got the Aramaic Bible saying that Jesus is the living God and he's Yahweh. And then we got right here the Ancient of Days saying that he is who he is, that he's the Most High. So when we check out, right, the next slide, we're going to see that, like I said, the Ancient of Days is the Aramism. And the Aramism is when a characteristic feature of Aramaic occurring in another language. So I'm breaking down the language, covering all the bases of showing you how this Aramaic word could even be in the Hebrew literature, right? Because it's an Aramism. On to the next slide. Now, this is where he's going to definitely, in the next couple of slides, it's going to get real ugly for him, right? So we're going to deal with Daniel 22 in the KJV. And it says, until the Ancient of Days came and the judgment was given and the saints of the Most High, and the time that came that the saints possessed the kingdom, right? So if we understand what that's being said right there, that Most High, that word right there, it's only in the Bible in Daniel 7. It's not even nowhere else. So anywhere else that you see Most High, it's not talking about this Most High, the Ancient of Days, which I'm about to show you, right? So that, go to the next slide. That Most High number is H5946, E Elyon, right?
1 minute remaining.
Huh?
Is that his time, Karima? We can't hear you.
No, I said 1 minute remaining, and I paused it. So continue.
Okay. Yeah, 1 minute remaining, sir.
Yeah, you got to give me a second because I'm going from screen to screen. So give me a second, but I got you.
Can you start back up?
You might have to make it a little bit smaller so the whole screen could be. You can't see the word Elyon.
Oh yeah. There you go. Now that. Yeah, we see it. You blow a little bit bigger than that, though.
It's cool. I got a minute. That's enough time to finishing.
Okay.
All right. So you see E Elyon H5946. Next slide. Next slide. Yeah. It's kind of small. No, you're on the wrong. Yeah. All right. We can see that this H5945 is the Most High, right? E Elyon. Scroll down a little bit so they can see that it's the Most High. Hold on, we gotta hurry up, right? We only got a minute, right? So on to the next slide. Move it up so they can see the bottom, the numbers. Yeah, right there. So right here we can see. Hold on. Scroll down so they can see the box. They can't see the brown. The box at the bottom, the numbers at the bottom isn't showing. So we can show that this is all the numbers. Scroll it up just a little bit. You can't see that the numbers in Daniel at the box in the bottom is, yeah, right there. All right, so right there showing that this Most High, this in Daniel 7, is the only time that this Most High is being shown in the Bible. So when I take him to the other places that is saying Most High, it's not talking about the Ancient of Days. And there's clearly other verses in the Bible that talks about the Most High. So he got to deal with this, right? Then I'm going to rest my time. I'm going to land my plane on that. It's over for the
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the first round is over.
That's fine. I'll let you go 5 seconds over time. So if he need that, he get that.
Okay, 5 seconds. All right. Like I said, ladies,
It was just 5 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah. So the other brother get 5 seconds if you want. Now, ladies and gentlemen, both of you brothers has laid out the premise. We getting ready to go to the top of the second round. Wait, this will be your rebuttal round, ladies and gentlemen. So we're gonna let the Orthodox more.
No, this is still the premise round, fam. We just did our intros.
Oh, that was the intro, man. Okay, I thought the intro was only 7 minutes.
Yeah, that was just the intro. Yeah.
Yeah, my man had a long 7 minutes. No worries.
Okay. Oh, he's trying to fix his. All right. So I'm not the timekeeper. I'm just here to run, to keep the crowd warmed up and introduce y'all. I don't get in the way. I don't, agree or disagree with either one of y'all. I just want y'all to, teach the people. All right. So, Brother Orthodox, let me know when you're ready for your premise. And this is his first premise round, and after that, be rebuttal. Okay. All right. So, whenever you're ready, everybody hit that like, share, and subscribe. Peace to Indigenous Black Man. I see him in the audience peeking around. Anonymous Hebrew, B.A. Abad. Everybody else is peeking in. Everybody hit that like, share, and subscribe. All right, let's go. We're ready.
All right, let's
Hey, everybody. Hey, everybody. I appreciate y'all tuning in and sharing and tuning into the discussion. So your time starts now.
All right, let's go. So first and foremost, Brother Paulo Bay, I am the affirmative, so you might want to start responding to my premises and my questions, which you are not directly answering in this debate, and I'll show here how. So, like I said, my premise is based on ontology, right? What does ontology mean? Ontology is a branch of metaphysics that deals with the nature of a being. I'm going to let you hopscotch around the scriptures all you want to, fam. We're going to deal with the natures of these beings that we're talking about and see if they match up. Because that's how you deal with that question. How do you know if these beings are the same beings or whatnot? Do they have the same ontology? Do they have the same nature? The ontology of the Ancient of Days and the Lord of Hosts, as I read it in the text. The Ancient of Days sits on a throne, Daniel 7:9. Judges with books, Daniel 7:10. Gives glory, dominion, and a kingdom to the Son of Man and the saints of the Most High, in Daniel 17 through 27. The Lord of Hosts is a king on the throne, Isaiah 6, 1 through 5. Is a judge, Jeremiah 11:20, Malachi 3:5. Gives a son, the Prince of Peace, a government and kingdom on the throne of David, Isaiah 9, 6 through 7. They both judge from a throne and give kingdoms to a son. Neither are ever called sons or princes. Never called sons or princes. That's not an ontological attribute that they share, that they have. That's not part of their nature to be a son or a prince. The ontology of the Son of Man and the nation of Israel, in contrast, right? As you heard my man talk about the Son of Man. The Son of Man / the Messiah, called the Lord is our righteousness, Jeremiah 23, 5 through 6. David, he's also called a servant. David, my servant, Ezekiel 37, 24. Called God's son, 2 Samuel 7, 14. Called a prince, Ezekiel 37, 25. Dies and is raised on the third day, Matthew 17, 22 through 23. And the same can be said for the nation of Israel. They are also called, the Lord is our righteousness, Jeremiah 33, 14 through 16. They are also called a servant, Jacob, my servant, Ezekiel 37, 25. They are also called God's sons, Exodus 4, 22 through 23. They're also called a prince. Jacob is starting off by being called a prince, Genesis 32, 28. And again, the nation of Israel also dies and is raised on the third day, Hosea 6, 1 and 2. They both are called servants, sons, princes, and die and are raised. And first and foremost, again, God, El Yon El, like he's talking about, is not a man nor the son of man in Numbers 23, 19. But again, if you're going to say they have the same ontology, you have to show the Lord of Hosts. You have to show the Lord of Hosts having these attributes, being a servant, being called the Son of God, being called a prince, and dying and being raised on the third day. You can't show that in the text, man. Here's some aspects of the oneness of God. Again, reiterated all throughout the text that the Lord is one, Deuteronomy 6:4, that the Lord is one, Mark 12:29, that the Lord is one God, or that there is one God, Mark 12:32, that one God justifies, Romans 3:30. No other God but one, 1 Corinthians 8:4. one God and Father, Ephesians 4:6, one God and one mediator, etc., etc., etc. There is one God, and besides, there is none else, consistently throughout the text. The right arm and hand of the Father. See, this is the part that my brother doesn't understand, the concept of the Father acting through emissaries, right? It says this about his right hand and his arm via his emissaries in the text, that your right hand smashes the enemy. The Father doesn't come through and physically smash the enemy on his own. He does not enter creation like that. He has his creation do this for him, right? By a mighty hand, the Lord in Egypt brought them out. Deuteronomy 4:34. Again, brought out of Egypt with a mighty hand. 2 Kings 17:36. Again, scatter enemies with a mighty hand. Psalm 89:10. His right hand, again, holy arm, works of salvation. Psalm 98:1. His holy arm works salvation. His hand works salvation. And like my brother rightly said, an angel in the burning bush in the Exodus narrative, right? And also in Acts, talking about this concept, right? And we also see that angels, right, are giving the law in the Old Testament, in Exodus 19:20 and via Galatians 3:19. And like my man said, if you're talking about angels of the Lord, etc., in the Old Testament, in any way, shape, or form, you are talking about emissaries of the Most High, fam. And again, once you start talking about that, how do you limit that? And if you can't limit them, your whole paradigm falls apart. The Father and Son's thrones. I'm glad you talked about Revelation, because we're going to jump all into that, right? Mark 16:19, we see that the Son sits at the right hand of God. Revelation 3:21, we also see, to him that overcometh will I grant to sit with me in a throne. This is Jesus talking. And even as I also overcame and am set down with my Father in his throne. In his throne, the Father also has a throne. The Father is also a king. The Son sits at the right hand of the Father. The Son sits with the Father in his throne. If the Son is a king, the Father is the king. The Father rules the new kingdom. Pay attention to this, fam. We're going right back to Revelation where you were talking about. Isaiah 51:4. For a law shall proceed from me, and I will make my judgment to rest for a light of the people. Again, judgment proceeding as light from the Most High. Isaiah 60:19. We see that the sun and the moon will no longer be used for light, but the Lord shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy God thy glory. And we see this same language in Revelation 21. Again, where it says, and the city has no need for a sun and moon to shine on it, for the glory of God gives it light, and its lamp is the Lamb. So again, God is king, ruling via his law as his emissary in the new kingdom, in the new Jerusalem, with the Lamb as his light. The Lamb is not the source of light. The Lamb is a container of light, just like you said, fam. Is an instrument of creation, and is not equal with the Father if he's not the source of light. It's not the same ontology. They don't have the same characteristics. One is the source, one is the servant. The Son imitates the Father. We see the Son saying over and over again, the Son can do nothing of himself, but what he seeth the Father do. I can of my own self do nothing. As I hear, I judge, and my judgment is just. The Son imitates the Father in judgment. The Father never imitates the Son. If the Son is a king, the Father is the king. The different princes of God. We see David being called a prince. We see Jesus being called the Prince of Kings. We see Michael, the angel, being called a prince in Daniel chapter 10. We see other angels being called princes in Daniel chapter 10. We see the future Messiah is a prince in Ezekiel 44:3, seated before the Most High. Again, this concept is not limited to one person or being, messing up your whole concept of just having one person fit this role. But on top of that, the Ancient of Days nor the Lord of Hosts are ever called princes of God in any way, shape, or form. But again, with all these princes, one has to ask, David, the Messianic king, Jesus, etc., angels, etc., the future Messiah, who is their king? Who is their king? You're saying the Father's not a king. The different sons of God. Again, we see Adam, the nation of Israel, Davidic kings, angels, again, Jesus, those who receive true light, those led by the Spirit, and believers in Jesus, period, all being called sons of God. Again, not limited to one being or person. And again, never is the Ancient of Days or the Lord of Hosts being called a son of God. It's not in their ontology, fam. It's not in their nature or being. The different Elohim of God. We see Moses was called Elohim. Again, this is directly attacking my man, saying that Elohim in the singular is the Lord of is Jesus, is Allah, is Yahweh, etc. Right? He's making them all equivalent, right? So again, if this is equivalent, this doesn't work out for him because Moses is made Elohim. Judges are made Elohim. The spirit of Samuel, a dead man, is made Elohim. Angels are Elohim. And the house of David is also made Elohim. Zechariah 12:8. Again, not limited to one person or being. Not limited to one person or being, fam. The different Malach Yahweh, fam. Because it ain't just one. My guy thinks it's just one. We see an angel with given the name of the Lord, right? In Exodus 23, 23. We also see the same angel being talked about, the angel of the Lord's presence, Isaiah 63, 7 through 14. We see in the New Testament, then in Luke 1:19, that angel is being called Gabriel. Gabriel. Okay, now we got more than one angel of the Lord. Oh, what? Now the angel of the Lord announces the birth of Jesus in Luke chapter 2, 7 through 12. How is Jesus the angel of the Lord and also announcing his birth at the same time? How does this work? So we got Gabriel, we got this other angel of the Lord announcing the birth. We got Jesus. Like how many we got, man? We got the angel that rolls away the stone, the angel of the Lord that rolls away the stone at the tomb of Jesus in Matthew 28:2. Fam, we got way too many angels of the Lord. Again, not limited to one being. And again, never is the Ancient of Days or Lord of Hosts called. What was that?
I think she said
somebody said something.
I think she said 1 minute remaining. They can't hear you when you tell them. But if y'all hear her coming
no,
like that,
I got 5 minutes. No, I got 5 minutes remaining.
Okay.
No, I got 5 minutes remaining.
No, I got an extra 5 minutes.
So not limited to one person, never the Ancient of Days, and again, never is the Lord of Hosts called this. And again, my man wants to get into this concept of the Melech here. It means king, not angel, right? So in 2 different translations here, we're going to see to where in the Latin Vulgate and in the Greek Septuagint that they translate this word as angel and not king. Angel and not king. In Genesis 22:11, we can see it very clearly that it says, and behold, an angel of the Lord in both verses. And it uses angeles and angelos in both situations. We got different messiahs of God, right? We have the priest called Messiah. We have Saul called the Messiah. We have David called the Messiah. We have Solomon called the Messiah. Jehu called the Messiah. Cyrus called the Messiah. A future Messiah. And Jesus called the Messiah. Not limited to one person. Never the Ancient of Days. And again, never do we see this applied to the Lord of Hosts. Never. We see a consistent ontology between the Ancient of Days and Lord of Hosts, but we don't see the Lord of Hosts sharing this ontology in any way, shape, or form. The different sons of man, we see God. El is not a son of man. Numbers 23:19. Ezekiel is called a son of man. Messianic figure in the future from Daniel 7 is called a son of man. Jesus is called a son of man, right? Again, not limited to one being or person, smashing this whole game. And never is the Ancient of Days or the Lord of Hosts being called the Son of Man. Does the Son of Man give himself a kingdom? Because that's what my man's trying to argue. He just tried to argue that Jesus sent himself as an angel. And he's definitely trying to argue that in Daniel chapter 7, that the Son of Man is giving himself a kingdom. This is crazy. This is crazy. Again, so real quick. So via Morris methodology and whatnot, there's one Allah who equals Yahweh, the great God. Well, I'll just run it through like this so y'all can see it. You know what I'm saying? So in the Morris literature, we have this, right? In the Circle 7 Quran and the question, we get these concepts, right? That every nation has a name for Allah, that Jehovah is his Hebrew name, and that there's but one Allah, right? So Allah equals Yahweh, and there's one Allah, not two, one. His concept is that there's more than one Yahweh and more than one Allah. We see this concept here that the great God is equal to Allah, which is also equal to the Lord thy God. And I want y'all to pay attention to this because I think this is where everything's getting messed up for my brother, right? So we have this concept again where we have the great God being equal to Allah and the Lord thy God being equal to Allah. But I think my brother's doing the same thing what you just saw him do a little bit earlier in Daniel 7, to where he made a false equivalence by reading two people into the text that were not there equivalently, right? So the text is talking about one being the whole time, and he sees it as two, not from what the text is saying, but from what he's reading into the text. Going further, he also has this issue to deal with, right? Because in the Circle 7 literature, there's 7 Elohim, 7 creative spirits in what would be the Genesis 1 area, right? So what is he saying there? Does he have 7 angels of the Lord? Does he have 7 Lord of hosts? Does he have 7 princes of peace? Does he have 7 messiahs? What's going on with that, fam? It's not like you're not being consistent with your literature and also other literature. Going forward, we see in the Circle 7 Chronicles also says this: if you be a son of Allah, because he does a miracle, etc. The proof of my messiahship, etc. He was a prophet of Allah, etc. All this is stipulating when you go down through a real quick, family, is this is Jesus being called the Messiah, son of Allah, and a prophet. He's never called the law, never called Yahweh, but is his emissary in the Circle 7 Quran in the question here. Never Allah, never Yahweh, but his son, his Messiah, and his prophet, his emissary. Going into the actual Quran itself, right? So we see here that Allah equals Yahweh in Surah 255, 32, and 465, to where we have shahadas to Huwa El Hayyu, which is Yud Hey Wow Hey spelled backwards with the same exact meaning, he the ever living, right? So again, Allah equals Yahweh even in the Quran of Mecca, even the Quran of Muhammad as well, without any deity above or any deity beside it. The Quran of Muhammad also stipulates this. You know what? I'm going to jump into this one save that for another round right quick. And so the Quran of Muhammad also says this, that Allah is one, not two, and not three. Say he, Allah, is one. Do not take for yourselves 2 deities. He is but one God. They have certainly disbelieved who say Allah is a third of 3, and there is no God except one God. And then it also says this, say Muhammad, if there had been one with him, gods that they say, I messed up on my own joint. Let me drop down one. 23:116. So exalted is Allah, the sovereign king. Again, in the Quran, Allah is king, El Maliku, right? Same word he's messing up, right? That he thinks it only means one thing, right? It means angel or king, but it's specified here. Allah is the king, and he has a throne. He's the Lord of the noble throne. Again, king on a throne, consistent throughout all the text, man. And one God throughout all the text. One God throughout all the text. Oh, you know what? Let me go back and make sure I get this one, because he's definitely going to butcher this. In the Quran, it says something very interesting. It says that we're not supposed to raise amongst ourselves lords to be equal with the law, right? Or instead of Allah is what it actually says, in place of. My man misreads this when he goes into another verse which specifies that the Messiah is a Lord along with the law. So just like he's called Lord in the Bible, he's called Lord in the Quran, but he's not equal with the law. So the Quran makes this clear, 572. They have certainly disbelieved who say Allah is the Messiah, the son of Mary, while the Messiah has said, O children of Israel, worship Allah, my Lord and your Lord. They're not equal in the Quran, not equal in the Bible, and I'll definitely get into that part when my time gets there, right? Going forward.
Time.
Hold up, baby. Hold up, baby. Hold up. Be quiet. It's time. Hold up. All right.
You can let him keep. We ain't got no judges. You can let it. You don't gotta cut his bill. Let him keep flowing, because it's gonna get ugly for him. You gotta get it all out.
You want to read? Go ahead, brother. Put it back up.
Yeah,
there.
keep put it up. You know what I mean? He was in the middle or something.
All right. I appreciate
everybody.
You,
hit that like, share, subscribe, man. We got Professor X, the Lioness Lounge in the building, Ryan Apologetics, 747, Cooking with Billy, Anonymous Hebrew, Indigenous Black Man, Jew, Primera, Concrete Biblical Truth in the building, Judah Nash. We got who else we got up in here? B.A. Abad, peace and blessings to you, brother. We got Jeremiah and his new name, Amiri Min Al Quds. I don't know what the hell that's supposed to be, but hey, so whenever y'all ready, peace, whoever I forgot, Suni Hezar, my wife Jenny Hayes, peeking around in the building, cooking with Billy. Let's get it. And whoever I miss, I apologize, but we gotta get back to the meat and potatoes.
Yeah, I just need a couple more minutes to finish this off. Actually, I got just a few more slides. So
yeah, go ahead, bro.
So in our dialogue, my brother let me know that he believed that the Quran rejects the concept of Jesus being a son of Allah and whatnot. And so I'd also like to put him that we vehemently disagree on that concept, and I will prove it if he needs me to. But the Quran stipulates in Surah 4, ayat 171 and 72 that he is a son of Allah, and glory be to Allah for that sonship. And that he's a servant without disdain, and this is the same meaning of what a son of Allah is in the Bible, etc. Right? That they're servants without disdain. It also stipulates that these angels are servants with him, right? And so we also know that the angels are sons of God. We also know that, and even if you reject this concept that I'm saying here, it's also stipulating that Jesus is the son of Mary here, right? So either or, Jesus is a son. Allah is never a son. They do not, again, never a son. Different ontology. As a matter of fact, I'm going to go back and make sure I clear something up right quick. And do this just to make sure it's clear for the people, because I wasn't able to do that clear. So again, in the circle 7, we get the concept of there being one Allah who equals Yahweh. We get the concept of there being a great God and the Lord thy God, which equals Allah and Yahweh, with no deity above or beside him. There is 7 Elohim of creation in the circle 7 Quran. My man's got to deal with that and make it work within his paradigm. Jesus is a messianic son of Allah and a prophetic a prophet sent by Allah, right? Again, an emissary of Allah. Right, and going back to my joint. Let's get through this real quick. Bye. And like I was saying in the Quran here, the Quran of Mecca is real clear on this methodology that Allah equals Yahweh. Again, Huwa El Hayyu. He is the ever living. That Allah whom He creates the heavens and the earth and sends down other things and whatnot. And I'll jump into that one if I need to. But 3, Allah is not one, or Allah is one, not 2 or 3. He is the king and the Lord of the throne. Again, Allah is 1, not 2 or 3. He is the king and the Lord of the throne. Jesus is a rabbi, but is not Allah and is never called the Lord of the worlds or Lord of the throne. It's not an equal lordship in any way, shape, or form. And again, if you want to say he's the angel of the Lord, I'll even grant you that, fam. And the concept of he has his name given to him by the Father. No issue with that, fam. He's carrying the Father's name. It's not his name. It's a different thing, fam. He's being granted something. Hence, the one granting it is greater. The one granting it is the Lord of the worlds. The one granting it is the Lord of the throne. Jesus is never called that in any way, shape, or form. Jesus is called a son. When is Allah a son? Again, it's not happening. When you try to make the Lord of hosts a son and all these other things, you're giving them a different ontology, fam, that you cannot find in the text. You're not saying the Lord of hosts says any of this stuff, fam. Going further. Here we go. So going into the Bible again, going through that methodology from the circle 7 to the Quran, now going to the Bible, right? The Bible clearly says in Psalm 18:31, for who is Elohah save Yahweh? Who is Arak save our God? So it's equating H433 Elohah to Yahweh, H3068. And we see when we break this down, we get an Arabic equivalent of Ilah, and in the Strongs, like my man like to bring up, we get the direct equivalent for Allah, the true God, the true God. So Yud Hey Waw Hey and Allah are equivalent even in the Bible, and that ends my round for right here, fam.
All right, hold on. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of his premise round. Now we got the bottom of the second. We got the more adjudicator coming up to the plate. I hope y'all are learning what's going on in the debate. Hit that like, share, subscribe. The Lions is in the building. Peace. Go ahead, brother Morris Adjudicator. Let us know when you're ready.
I wanted him to get it all out, man. I see he was over there windmilling. You know what I mean? Only thing that he could have did was ignore everything that I showed him in my previous slides. I showed him that the Ancient of Days is only that word Most High. It's only it's only in one chapter. It's right there. So anywhere else I take him, what I'm going to do in my slides, right, is show him that there's another person being called Most High. But before I even do that, Brother Amon, could you please go back to Revelations 22 of the Aramaic Bible? Because he really act like he didn't see this part. He put his Ray Charleses on, you know what I mean? He glid past this part. Then he got it mixed up and said that it was saying that he was an angel. No, he said he sent an angel. See, that's where the read and comprehension part comes in. Right? And then he's using the Strongs. The Strongs don't even agree with him. See, this is the new debate tactics that people's doing nowadays, right? They're showing sources that don't even agree with them. Right? There's no way he should be showing the blue letter or any type of Strongs or any. They don't agree with nothing that he's saying. Right? They're agreeing with everything that I'm saying, and I'm about to show him. Cool. Brother Amon, could you put that? Yeah. Get back to number 16, right? Because he missed this part. And when it say I am, right? I don't know how you missed that part. It was in capitals. He missed it. But we gonna put it back up for him. Right? Now it says, I could see it on my screen right there. It's big. It says, I Yeshua have sent my angel to testify before the assembly. I am. Right? I could stop right there. Right? He's saying that he is the I am. Right? And then he's saying that he's the living God. And then y'all seen on his screen, he kept on showing that said the Lord is the living God. You can't make this up. It's like, I don't know, is he trying to throw the match or what? I don't know what he's doing. Right? But this right here is clear. And like I said, whatever else he's saying about, going into Quran and Mecca, I'm going to show him that they pray to the God of Moses. I'm going to show him who the God of Moses is. Right? So, and then I could right now, like I could literally just tell Brother Amon to go up in the blue letter and just, smash him on a couple points that he said. But I'm going to stick within my PowerPoint and showed that I was already walking him down. Whatever his thought process was, I was already walking him down. So, Brother Amon, could you get back to my PowerPoint? This is crazy. He just, and then you clear.
Your screen is not showing.
All right, I'm just filling in time. All right. Oh, yeah, right there. See, this is where he got to deal with this part right here. Because he keeps saying that there's not two, right? John 1:1, right? It was God, and the word that was with God was God. Somehow he doesn't understand that, right? So let me explain it right here with scripture, that the word was God. So right here, we know who the word is. So right here, I saw in the night visions, and behold, one like the Son of Man came with the clouds of the heavens, came to the Ancient of Days, and they brought him near before him. Right? Next slide. Right here, we got the Strong's H1247, Son, Bar, right? Strong's H606, and Nash, man, human being, right? So it's breaking down, showing right here in the notes that this is the most quoted Old Testament verse by Jesus to describe himself, right? And they're precepting it with Matthews 24 and 30. in Mark 14 and 62, where Jesus claimed this Masonic identity. So in this verse right here, Jesus quotes this verse. So he can't get around who the Son of Man is. So I'm identifying that the Son of Man in Daniel, right? This is before Jesus manifested that this Son of Man, right, is the same Son of Man in the New Testament. Next slide. Daniel 7:14 in the KJV. And there was given him dominion and glory and a kingdom that all people, all nations, languages should serve him. His dominion is the everlasting dominion which shall not pass away, and his kingdom that shall not be destroyed. So I don't know what part of this where he's not understanding or where this is. The Ancient of Days gave him this power that I'm talking about. He gave him the kingdoms. He gave him the dominion. So if he gave him that, what would he be to the people on the earth? How do you not understand this? This is 101 right here that I'm giving you. This is like the beginning of the, you know what I mean, the end, literally. So now we go to the next slide. Because I'm giving him sources, right? He just over there talking, you know what I'm saying? Just saying, I don't even know how he even could say the stuff that he's saying after the slides that I showed him. This is ridiculous. But right here, right? We got Daniel 7:13 through 14, scholarly commentary with the lexical tools, right? This document provides a compilation of scholarly commentary on Daniel 7:13 and 14, highlighting the use of Strong's Concordance, Brown Driver Briggs, lexicon, and the biblical language tools, right? What are you going to do with this? And at this point, these are just scholars disagreeing of what's being said. So I'm showing you that it's not my words, right? These are the people who get paid to do this, right? So at the end of the day, look, we got right here. Gleason L. Archer, right? He identifies the Son of Man as a Masonic and divine feature and notes that the coming with the clouds indicates his divine identity as in Isaiah 19:1. So he's putting this Son of Man with the Lord that rides the clouds in Isaiah. So right now we're getting the connection that he's saying that this is this Lord right here. This is Bible scholars. You could try to say whatever you want, but I got the scholars agreeing. We drop down to Stephen R. Miller, right? He interprets Daniel 7:13 and 14 as a coronation vision of the Messiah. This ain't my words. These is the scholar words, right? This is what you got to deal with, what you ain't showing me, right? So at the end of the day, you know what I mean? Until you show something, you know what I mean? Or somebody that's, backing up and saying that this ain't right. Now, this is where the rubber meets the road, right? Because he wants to know where the Messiah is saying that he's the Lord of hosts. I clearly heard him say that the Messiah didn't say this, right? And anybody that knows about anything about the Bible knows that when I take him to Zechariah 14 and 16 right here, and it says, and this shall come to pass, this is talking about in the future, right? That everyone that is left of all the nations which shall come against Jerusalem shall even go up from year to year and worship the King, right? The Lord of hosts, and keep the Feast of Tabernacles. Now he's going to try to act like that. He ain't going to understand when it says this king right here, and this is coming in the future. Everybody know this is the millennial 1,000 years when Jesus is going to reign in Jerusalem. And this is the Lord of the hosts saying that he's going to be in Jerusalem. So if by his standards, if this is the Ancient of Days, like how would he say, then there ain't no God in the heavens? So when the Lord of the hosts is down here in Jerusalem, he's saying that there's no God up in the heavens. I'm showing him that the Ancient of Days is in heaven while the Lord of the hosts is on earth. I'm going to keep on showing him this through the Bible. I don't even know where he gets, his understanding. I know where he gets his understanding, right? He's regurgitating information and he's not reading it for himself, because this is clear right here, right? You can't get around this, right? So let's deal with it, right? The English grammar, the positive structure, right? In the English grammar, the king, the Lord of hosts, is in a positive construction. A positive is a noun or a noun phrase that renames or further identifies another noun beside it, right? For further example, like my friend John is coming over, right? We understand that my friend, right, is talking about John. Or the CEO is a brilliant strategist, right? We understand that the CEO is the brilliant one. So in Zechariah 14 and 16, we have here the king, the Lord of hosts. The construct means the king is the Lord of hosts. The Lord of hosts is not the second person or a title alongside the king. It is further identifying identifying who is the king, right? The Hebrew Synaxis lexicon supports the phrase, right? The king, Yahweh the host. There is no conjunction between king and Yahweh. This is the standard Hebrew grammatical device where two nouns in a construct form refer to the same person. This is called the opposition. This mirrors the English structure. So it's showing you in the strong concordance where it says H4428 Malik King, that's going with the Lord of hosts. So he can't get around this, right? And this Lord of hosts is on the earth. Next slide. A scholarly source that affirms identification is Dr. Michael Rannick, professor of Jewish studies at Mood Babel Institutes and editor of Mood Babel Commentary. He writes, the phrase the king, the Lord of hosts, is a reference to the divine king, not a human monarch. In the Hebrew text, the opposition makes it clear the king is Lord of the host, Yahweh. This affirms the divine kingship of Yahweh ruling Jerusalem in the Messianic kingdom, right? Once we understand what Messianic is, this is saying the Messiah ruling as the king. Can't get around it. Next slide. We got Dr. John MacArthur, right? The MacArthur Testament commentary, MacArthur discussion on Zechariah 14 and 16. In this commentary, Dr. MacArthur asserts that the king, the Lord of hosts, refers to the Messiah, who is Yahweh. He interprets this as a description of Christ's future reign during the millennium kingdom, where he is to rule as a divine king over all of the earth from Jerusalem. People who understand the Bible knows that this is what it's saying, right? He's going to try to act like he don't know what this is saying. This is clear, right? Next slide. We got John Gill, right? John Gill, in his discussion, John Gill notes that the king, the Lord of hosts, refers to the Messiah, who is king over all of the earth. The Lord of hosts, and explains this title underscores the Messiah's divine nature and his rightful worship of all nations. I'm being clear with this, right? He's the one who's all over the place. I got the scholars backing up what I'm saying, that right here in this verse right here, that the Lord of hosts is the Messiah. He can't get around this.
Hey, go ahead and finish up, man. You good?
Oh, I'm sorry. I accidentally hit the mute button.
No, go ahead and finish up. You good?
Oh, how much time do I got left?
Don't worry about it. Just finish around, fam. You good?
All right. So right here, I'm at definition.
You got 4 minutes and 52 seconds, but you can, after that, he did his thing. So
no doubt. Before I get to jumping on him with, with verses, right? I could easily verse him up. That's not about nothing. I'm breaking down that what it's actually saying, right? Because at the end of the day, anybody could say anything that they want about a verse. I mean, at the end of the day, at least I got people who's agreeing with me that this is what it's saying, right? I'm not just making this up on my own. So the theological definition of the Masonic describes belief, prophecies, or expectations connected to the Messiah, especially in Judaism and Christianity. In Christianity, it refers to specific to Jesus Christ as the Messiah who fulfills Old Testament prophecies. So it's linking it right here to the Old Testament. It's not like it's just some New Testament understanding. In Judaism, it refers to the future anointed king from the line of David who will bring peace and restore Israel. In general use, it can describe someone's zealous, or savior-like qualities. The Masonic leader, right? So at the end of the day, we understand when it's getting applied to the Messiah, though. There's a lot of Messiahs. I'm not saying that there's not, but there's only one Messiah, there's only one Lord, and there's only one God, right? And when I take him to the verses that break that down, there's going to be no way to get around this. Next slide. Now, right here, now we in the blue letter, right? So right here, I got it highlighted, this double yod right here. So he can't get around that this double yod is used for the Adonai, right? It's used for the short citation of Yahweh, right? It's the two yods together that's making this sound right here, right? So right here is showing where it's being used of. He can't get around. That's where I highlighted Zechariah 14:9, right? He can't get around the fact that once I show him that this double yod right here, it's clearly saying who it is. Because that double yod, that's not the Ancient of Days, right? In the blue letter, when they wanted to mark the Messiah before in his before he pre-manifested, they used this sign right here, right? So when I show him anywhere in the Bible, and you can see all the verses that this go with, right? These is all precepts that I could use at him at any time. I just highlighted this one right here on Zechariah 14, but I could use any one of these to prove that this is what this is saying, right? So it's clear that when you see this double yod right here, that is the Masonic king, this the Lord of the hosts, this in Zechariah 14:9. The blue letter is backing up what I'm saying, not what he's saying. It don't agree with him at all. So let's get in. My next verses that I'm gonna break down is Luke, right? Because Luke is where you can understand the angel that was sent. I showed him in Revelations 22:16 that Jesus said, the Messiah said that he sent an angel, you know what I mean, to bear witness against to the assemblies. The assemblies was the churches. So the angel that he sent was Gabriel, right? He's over here trying to talk about the angel of the Lord, that the Messiah is an angel. And I'm telling him that he's the Lord that is sending the angels. The angels is of the Lord of Man, this is crazy. Let me calm down. Right? So this is Luke 1:15. For he shall be great in the sight of the Lord, and shall drink neither wine nor strong drink, and he shall be filled with the Holy Ghost from his mother's womb. And many children of Israel shall he turn to the Lord their God. Now everybody knows this Lord that John is supposed to be turning everybody to. Clearly, right there in in Luke 1:16, it says that he's turning them to their Lord, their God. Right. And if you want to still play games and act like he don't know who the Lord is, that's why I put 17 in there too. And he shall go before them in the spirit and in the power of Elijah, to turn the hearts and the fathers of the children to the disobedient, to the wisdom of the just, to make ready a people prepared for the Lord. John the Baptist prepared for the Lord, the Messiah. Clear, like it's right here. I don't. That's what I'm saying. Every slide that I take him to is showing what I'm talking about, that is clear. Right? Next slide. And the angel answering him said unto him, I am Gabriel that stand in the presence of God. I just showed him that in Revelation 22, that the Messiah said he sent his angel. This is the angel that he sent to show that he was coming, right? To stand in the presence of God, and I am sent to speak unto thee, to show thee these glad tidings. 20. And behold, thou shalt be dumb and not be able to speak until these things shall be performed, because thou did not believe my word, which shall be fulfilled in their season. Next slide. So there was witnesses to this. And the people waited for Zechariah and marveled that he tarried so long in the temple. And when he came out, he could not speak unto them, and they perceived that he had seen a vision in the temple, for he beckoned unto them and remained speechless. Next slide. And in the 6th month, next slide.
I was going to say we couldn't hear you. All right, go ahead.
And in the 6th month, the angel Gabriel was sent from God unto the city of Galilee named Nazareth, and to a virgin espoused to a man named Joseph of the house of David, and the virgin was Mary. And the angel came unto her and said, Hail, though thou art highly favored, the Lord is with thee, blessed among women. Right? And I'm gonna drop down since I'm running out of time, right? And it said, I'll just end it at
No, bro. Finish your thing up, bro. You good? You let me finish my slides. Finish your slides, just right.
All right, no doubt. So, and then the angel answered to her and said, The Holy Ghost shall come upon thee, the power of the highest shall overshadow thee. Therefore also a holy thing which thou shall be born, thee shall be called the Son of God. So at this point, this Son of God is the same Son of Man that was in Daniel. I'm showing him that there is two people that's being called God. No matter what he want to think and however he feel about it, there's two entities that's God, but only one deals with us, the Lord, right? I'm not saying that, and I'm being clear with this, right? Jesus was a manifestation of the Lord, right? Not a manifestation of the Ancient of Days. At no time did the Ancient of Days manifest himself and then come down on the earth, because that's what he's saying when he makes the Lord of the hosts and the Ancient of Days together. When I take him to 1 Timothy 3 and show him that God manifested in the flesh, there's no way he's going to be able to get around that, right? Next slide. So right here, at the end of the day, let's be clear of what he's saying and what I'm saying. If he's saying that the Ancient of Days is the Lord of Hosts, then that means that God, the Ancient of Days, manifests himself into flesh and came down here. We all know when you read the scriptures, it clearly says that the word manifested his into flesh, right? Not God. But the word was God. There's no way to get around that. So I'm gonna read the scripture for him and just make it clear, right? Huh? What'd you say?
Yeah, I think she was
That was
saying that
time.
was time.
But you can read out because I gave him some.
Yeah. Let him
No
finish
doubt.
his slides. Let me finish mine.
No doubt. I'll land my plane with this, right? And without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. God was manifested in the flesh. So that's where he's going to have to understand it. He's going to have to say the Ancient of Days did this, right? And that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that they're two different, and the word is the one that they're talking about right here, right? And it's going to be clear of how this is the word and this is not the Ancient of Days, right? Justified in the spirit, seen of the angels, preached unto the Gentiles, believed unto the world, and received up in the glory. We all know who that is right there. That's not the Ancient of Days. But it says God was manifested in the flesh. Because I took him to 2 Philippians, where it said that where he took that transformation and separate 2 Philippians 5, where he said that he stripped down into human form. And I'll land my plane with that.
All right. That's the end of the rebuttal round, right? Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're gonna, and then this round will be your was it questions? Was it a question round, right? Debaters?
Nah, this is actually the rebuttal round.
Okay, thank you. All right.
He just got done doing his premise round.
All right, thank you. All right, so go ahead, Orthodox Moore, get your screen up there and get into your rebuttal round. Ladies and gentlemen, you're in the Lions Den, JJ7K TV. Hit that like, share, and subscribe, man. Got some powerful information coming out from both of these brothers. Just waiting on, I think, Sister Karima to share Orthodox Moore screen. And we'll be ready. All right. Let us know when you're ready, Orthodox Moore.
I'm ready to go right now. Let's get it.
So your time starts now.
Okay. Appreciate the brother for that premise round. There's a lot of stuff that I wrote down here from his first couple of rounds that aren't even necessary because he basically built his premise off of, because he didn't really lay a premise in his premise round. He was kind of debating. And once he finally got into it, he finally let out what his premise was, is that he believes that there's two El-Yons, two different El-Yons. That he believes there's a difference between H5946 and a difference between H5945. So we're gonna see if that plays out, fam. We're also gonna jump into this Gabriel is the angel of the Lord thing. Maybe John 1. We'll see about that. We'll probably slap box on that. We'll see what it is. But I definitely want to clarify. I have not claimed at any point in this debate once that the Ancient of Days came to Earth. In fact, I made an opposite claim, which I'll get into in a second. Just want to clarify that one, fam. So, fallacy number 1, false equivalence, an argument or claim in which two completely opposing arguments appear to be logically equivalent when in fact they are not. The confusion is often due to one shared characteristic between two or more items of comparison in the argument that is way off in the order of magnitude, oversimplified, or just that important. Additional factors have been ignored. So we see that happening here. So again, my man, this is his slide, right? He stipulated that that in the biblical Aramaic or whatnot, that H4955 was a whole different word or whatnot, right? But I want you to understand something. This is his slide. If you see right here next to the H5945, it says ID. That means it's identical to the H5946. The ID there means it's identical. And we're gonna run that one more time, fam. So this is it one more time. So this is the H5946 again in the Strongs on the blue letter, like I showed you. You know what I'm saying? And again, we can see there it says it's corresponding to 5945. And one more time, when we go down in the biblical Aramaic, it says that it's identical to 5945. So what does that mean, fam? That means that he's completely incorrect in his assumption, unfounded assumption, that these are two separate deities anywhere in the text, particularly when the sources that he's citing are saying they're identical and corresponding to each other. So what does that mean? That means that every time, all 53 times you see H5945 appear in the text, it's the same as H5946. It's not a different Elyon, it's the same Elyon. One Elyon is in Hebrew, one Elyon is in Aramaic. That's all that is, fam. That's literally all that is. So when it's saying here that, for instance, that Melchizedek is the king and priest of the Most High God, that's the same Most High God there as it is everywhere else in the text. It's the same Most High there as it is everywhere else in the text. So again, my man, like I said in my counter premise, that he's basing his arguments off of fallacious argumentation, and we just saw right here the main cornerstone in his argument was this concept of there being two Elyons, and we see here where he's misreading his own sources and does not understand they're only one. Again, he wants to make appeals to authority all day. No issue, none whatsoever. Just understand that they're not scripture. And as a Moorish American Muslim, you're meant to use the Quran of Mecca as your governing authority over your customs. That Quran of Mecca says that you're supposed to go to the previous scriptures if you're in doubt or you don't know. And when you get there, it says you're supposed to not change or add what you find. And we see you changing and adding all over the place. On top of that, Zechariah 14:16, right? Again, this is my argument is that the Father rules via his law and his books. That the Father rules in the New Jerusalem and this whole Revelation situation you're talking about via his law and his books as his emissary, fam. As his emissary. And this is the cold part, right? Because y'all got to pay attention to this. You have to pay attention to this. This is the coldest appeal to authority I've ever seen because it chops his argument down instantly. One shot, one kill. His slide agrees with me. The Lord of hosts is not a human monarch. What? The phrase, the king, the Lord of hosts, is a reference to the divine king, not a human monarch, not a human king. Again, that's my argument, fam. 100%. That the Lord of hosts shares the ontology of the Ancient of Days as being a divine king, a divine ruler, judging from his throne. This fits my ontology, fam. Again, he's not meant to be a human monarch because being human is not part of the ontology of the Ancient of Days or the Lord of hosts. He's not a son. He's not a Messiah. He's not an angel. None of them things, fam. And he's certainly not the Son of Man, a human monarch. Certainly not. Again, your slide agrees with me. And in your fallacious appeal to authority, you defeated your own argument on its face. This debate is actually over right now. We're just going to keep going for the sake of the viewers, fam. He's the... Check this out, fam. I'm willing to grant you whatever you want to say about Jesus being a living God, him being an angel, whatever you want to talk about. I'm willing to grant all that nonsense, fam. What I need you to show me is the Lord of hosts having the same ontological nature as Jesus, i.e., being born, physically born, i.e., physically dying, i.e., physically being raised on the third day, just like I showed with him and like I showed with the nation of Israel. They share ontology as emissaries. The Lord of hosts does not share that ontology, fam, and I showed that clearly. You have not shown one single solitary verse stipulating that the Lord of hosts is a son, is the Son of Man, is the Malak Yahweh, is any of that stuff, fam. Not one. My man wants to talk about G15. Now, I want to remind you all, though, that once fully knew that Jesus, who saved the people out of the land, fam, if you want to make him that angel, that's fine. You have just solidified the end of your argument again, fam. Because again, like I was saying in my previous run, how many Malak Yahwehs do you have? You did not answer in any way, shape, or form, and everybody saw you sidestep when I brought out the Septuagint and I brought out the Vulgate, stipulating that it doesn't say king where you think it says king. It says angel every single solitary time. So now you got Jesus as an angel of the Lord. Now you got Gabriel as the angel of the Lord. So which one is the Malak Yahweh, fam? Which one is the Malak Yahweh? Because they both got the same title. They share ontology. You never find the Lord of hosts with that title, hence, or that job. Hence, you don't see them sharing ontology. They don't have the same nature in any way, shape, or form. It is apples and oranges all day long. Again, this was my argument, fam. Again, you're talking about I have to say that the Ancient of Days comes to the earth. No, I don't. Read my lips. He stays out of the physical. God is spirit, and those who worship him must worship him in spirit and truth. And as a spirit, he sends his emissaries. That could be an angel, that could be a prophet, or that could be his own commands, his own law. And like it says here in Isaiah 51:4, for a law shall proceed from me, and I will make my judgment to rest for a light of the people. And like it says again in Isaiah 60:19, the sun shall no more be thy light by day, neither for brightness shall the moon give light unto thee, but the Lord shall be unto thee an everlasting light, and thy God thy glory. Revelation 21:22, you're seeing the same concept, right? And I saw no temple in the city, for its temple is the Lord God, the Almighty, and the Lamb. 21:23, and the city has no need for a sun or moon to shine on it, for the glory of God gives it light, and its lamp is the Lamb. Again, the light coming from the city is the law of God. That is his emissary. Just like I stipulated at the beginning of this, that the Ancient of Days in Daniel 7 is on his throne, judging from books. On his throne, judging from books. So you believe the Ancient of Days is already in heaven. How is he judging if he's already in heaven? Oh, like it says, from his open books, his commandments, his law. And again, one more time, if Jesus is giving off the light, is the lamp, and God, the Father, is the source, they do not have the same ontology. But the Ancient of Days and the Lord of Hosts have the same ontology. They are both kings on their thrones. They are both giving judgment, and they both give kingdoms to the Davidic sons, to the Davidic kings, to the messianic figures. We do not see Jesus giving a kingdom anywhere, fam. He's receiving the kingdom, is he not? In fact, the only time he gives a kingdom is when he gives it back to the Father for a second, right? And if he gives it back, what does that mean? Oh, the dominion was the Father's to begin with, and it always is. The Father judges from his throne via his law and his emissaries. Hence, I keep asking you the question, which you will not answer. If David is a prince, if Jesus is a prince, if the angels are princes, who is their king? Who is their king? Oh, let me see if I got anything else with this. You know what? He didn't even get into that, so I don't got to get into that. Hold up. Oop, hit the wrong button. Let me share my joke one more time. I'm gonna go back into my previous slides, right? Because now he's definitely playing games with his own tradition, and we have to get this clarified 100%, right? So my man's trying to tell you that the Moorish literature doesn't say what it says, and it definitely says what it says. So let me get to that right quick. Where is my joint at? Here we go. So again, oh, you know what? Let me go to my first one. Because he's trying to play games with this whole thing, acting like it does not stipulate. Here we go. Proper Moorish American methodology, right? It says, and this is from the Moorish literature, again, Moorish leaders' historical message to America. This is from his prophet, Noble Drew Ali. It says the Quran should be of interest to all readers. It is the Bible of Mohammedans, ruling over the customs and actions of over 200 million people. And that's at the time of 1927, 29, etc. So there's a lot more Muslims then, right? It also stipulates this in the back of his questionnaire, right? The back of the questionnaire. The Moorish Science Temple of America deriving its power and authority from the great Quran of Muhammad. So him pretending like he's not supposed to start at the Quran is fallacious at the outset. It's a fallacy of omission. He's hoping you don't know what this says, and he's hoping I didn't know either, but I do know. And I'm calling you on your fallacy of omission right now. And again, when you go to that Quran of Muhammad, it specifies that if you are in doubt about what's coming down to you, or you do not know, you go to the people of the previous scripture or the reminder for clarity. So you go in that order. You start at the Quran. If something doesn't make sense there, then you go to the previous scripture. And once you get there, fam, do you change anything? Nah, you leave it as is. You leave it as is. You don't start taking outside sources and implementing in there and try to take your appeals to authority that, again, have no scriptural authority. No scriptural authority via what I just read, via the Moorish literature, via the Quran, and via the Bible itself. So I appreciate your appeals to authority, but that's all they are. They're fallacious appeals in this particular argument. And when you appeal to them, they cut you straight on your face. Straight on your face. So I'm going to do it like this, fam. Like I said, my counter premise was this, is that Apollo Beg, through eisegesis and conflation of text, is cherry picking, making false equivalencies, and repeatedly offering false binary choices and false dichotomies. We saw it right there, fam. He made the coldest false equivalency out there. His own sources showed you that where it's saying these two words are identical, these two versions of Elyon, the Hebrew version and the Aramaic version, that they're identical, that they're corresponding to each other, he makes them different. This, family, is a textbook false equivalency fallacy. And with that, I relinquish the balance of my time.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Orthodox Moors rebuttal round. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're enjoying the debate. Please hit that like, share, and subscribe. Coming up next, we got the Moorish adjudicator, Apollo Bey, getting ready to do his rebuttal. So go ahead and share your screen or whatever you want to do, and then let Kareem know when you're ready. Thank you.
All right. Hey, could you go back to the screen where it had the lexicon, where it just showed the 7 at the it said 718, 722, 725 at the bottom, where he just was at, because this ain't fair, man. Like, you ain't allowed, you know what I'm saying? You ain't allowed to shoot yourself, man. I'm supposed to do that. I'm supposed to hit you upside the head. You not supposed to be hitting yourself, stabbing. What type of stuff is that, man? Like, yo, you making it look like you trying to throw the debate, man, like I paid you or something, man. This ain't even fair. It's either I think it's slide 10. Yeah. Could you make it big for the people? Because I don't know what he tried to pull, man. He really act like y'all is slow or something, like y'all can't read. Right? I showed him that there's only one Most High. There's only one Ancient of Days. Right? Then he tried to take you to H5945 ID. You heard him say it, right? But he left out the part where it say plural of God. Somehow he left that part out, right? Somehow he went to that when I showed him H5946, and it clearly said that there's only one Ancient of Days, right? One. He gonna go up the word say plural? Is he serious? He can't be serious. He really, this is why you gotta watch these dudes with the word salad, man. Because they'll try to word salad something and then try to make it seem like it didn't say what it just said. Why he's questioning me on whether there's multiple most highs. He gonna really point out the Strongs where it said it was plural. And then I took him to where it was singular, showing him that it's singular. And he pointed out it's plural. Like, I can't make this up, man. For real. Like, y'all would think that I'm playing Jedi mind tricks on him right now to get him to say that. How much I gotta pay him to take you right there and say, and because I was supposed to do that. I was supposed to take you there and show you the plural. I didn't even get a chance to do it. What is wrong with him? Like he said, the debate, didn't he say the debate was over right here? He said the debate's over because XYZ, right? I'm showing you the debate's over. Don't ever pull my strap out and shoot yourself. That's crazy work. But this is what they do. This is the new tactics, right? They pull out sources that don't agree with them, and then they act like it agrees with them. This is the new debate tactics. I'm watching these dudes. Y'all, I'm calling it out live, though, right? Y'all are seeing what's going on, man. It clearly say plural gods if you try to use that Strong's what he's using. And then that Strong's was going to the Aramaic where he said that was linking back to the Quran. That is proving what I'm saying, that Moses has been who Moses is praying to, right? He's not praying to the Ancient of Days. The Messiah said, nobody has dealt with the Ancient of Days but him. Right here, it's making it true, right? He's showing you that wherever else when I take you to Psalms 47, right? Hey, brother Amon, could you please put Psalms 47 and 2? Just go to Psalms 47 for this, brother. Because we ain't gonna play these games, right? I'm dealing with him all the way. And then he keeps saying that I never once said, and when y'all, because this is all on tape, I never once said that the angel of the Lord was the Messiah. I never said that. What is he talking about? You talking about strong man arguments and arguing yourself. No, what you talking about? Go down to 3. No, 47, brother. That's 42. (47-2). Yeah, that most high right there. That's not the same most high, right? And that's not the same number that I showed him, right? It's little, I can't read, but could you read what it say right there, brother Amon? I can't see what it say.
Yeah, when you read the if you just talking about the definition, it says high, upper, and then the first asterisk says of Davidic king exalted above monarchs. and then it says highest, most high, name of God, of rulers, either monarchs or angels or princes.
Now let's deal with with this dude, man. This is hilarious, right? Because on that one slide where it said not human divinity, right? Because somebody will try to play that game, right? And they'll try to throw David in there, right? This is the David game. He wasn't even supposed to show y'all that, right? That was for when I go against Old Testament Hebrews and they try to throw David in the king thing. I had dude right there to show David can't be in that verse right there. But that's what I'm saying. He taking my gun and shooting. He's shooting that Old Testament. He's shooting that. He just busting off. He went going crazy, right? He think that he's doing something. He thought that when he showed that, dude was talking about that there can't be no humans. So he was basically, that was Xing out David or anybody else that tries to play that's the king in that Zechariah verse, right? It still said it was Messianic. So that's what I'm saying. You got to watch these dudes in this word salad, right? Now let's drop down, brother Amon. Let's, you know what I mean? Let's get into the Briggs driver and see what that's saying. I just want to see at any time is Daniel 7 in any of them verses. Did it go? I can't see, but could you see my eyes right now? I don't want to be proven wrong.
I don't see Daniel 7 nowhere.
All right, so this showing you that this Most High right here ain't the same Most High as the one in Daniel 7. He got to explain that, not me. I know what it is already. I keep telling them that they're separate. So this Lord right here is not the Ancient of Days. Now let's read the verse, brother Amon. Could you back out so we can read the verse and read the verse for this brother? He acting like he don't understand it. I'm bopping him all upside his head. He got the nerve to be trying to word salad his way through this.
Oh, you want me to read it as well?
Yeah,
it says,
could you read it?
Yeah, it says, for the Lord Most High is terrible. He is a great king over all the earth.
So when he asked me who was the king of those princes that he was naming, it's him right here, the Most High, right? That's not that Most High in Daniel 7, right? This is the Lord. This is the Most High. So you got to deal with that. There's only one Lord, right? And I'm going to keep on showing you over and over that there's only one Lord. Well, now we're going to get back to my, you know what I'm saying? We could get back to my slide now, right? I just wanted to point that out, you know, because he was acting like he don't know what's going on, right? Mm-hmm. I'm dealing with you. And the only reason why I'm not showing nothing from because we got 2 debates lined up, right? We got another debate on who's standing on our more science understanding, right? He keep on bringing it out, and I'm seeing all these in this debate where he's just it's gonna look uglier than this. Even though person probably wondering how could it get uglier than this?
The screen should be back up.
It's up there. Your mic is muted.
27. All right. Now, you know, I'm trying to give him understanding of what's going on right here, right? So 1 Corinthians 8. But to us there is but one God, the Father, the Ancient of Days, right? Clear. One of whom all are things, and we in him. And one Lord. One, not two lords, not three. There's only one Lord. So when you go in the Old Testament or whether you in the New Testament, there's still only one Lord and there's still only one Ancient of Days, the Father. Right? I'm clear with this. You're putting the Lord and the Ancient of Days together, not me. Right? You can't get around this. Now go to the next slide. Tearing him up. He don't even know. He keep wanting to ask me. He want to play the Lord game. I'm not playing the Lord game. I'm giving you context over the Lord this, Lord that, because I'm going to get into these lords in this verse right here, right? So Malachi 3:1, behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me, right? He got to deal with who the me is right there. And the Lord whom ye seek, right? So suddenly come into his temple. Wait a second. Now, there's a Lord that's going to come in his temple, right? Even the messenger of the covenant. So this Lord that's going to come in his temple, right, is going to have the message of the covenant, whom ye delight in, and behold, shall come, saith the Lord of hosts. So let's understand, let's break this down, man. Right? I'm getting at you with scripture. Only thing you've been doing is bouncing around with no context, right? I'm bringing the scriptures to straight context to understanding what's going on here, right? There's only one Lord, right? This is the Lord talking about everything that I've been saying, right? That one of these, the Ancient of Days, right, who is not the Lord, because the Lord is going to manifest himself into flesh. This is what's a verse that can explain that. Since you having a hard time understanding what's going on, let me break it down for you. Behold, I will send my messenger, and he shall prepare the way before me. That's the Lord of the hosts. He's the me, right? And the Lord whom ye shall seek, who's that? Who's that Lord right there? He got to explain who's that Lord, right? Because it's not him. So suddenly come into his temple, because we know that the Lord of the hosts, he never been in a temple made by hands of man. But this Lord is, right? And then this Lord is going to say it's his temple, right? He's not going to say it, but it's going to be his. See, the Lord of hosts is telling you that when the Messiah went in the temple and was overthrowing them chairs and said, you're doing in my father's house, he was talking about the Ancient of Days. He wasn't talking about this Lord of hosts right here. He possibly couldn't have been talking about him, because this Lord said it was his house. Then when the Lord of the hosts got there, he told you whose house it really is, the Ancient of Days, right? Giving all glory back to the Father. Maybe you could understand what's going on from a verse like this, right? But there's more. There's more. I ain't done with you by a long shot, right? Jeremiah 23:25, and behold, the days to come, saith the Lord, that I will rise unto David a righteous branch and a king. What? A king. The Lord said he's raising up a king, a righteous branch to David, right? Shall reign and prosper and execute judgment and justice in the earth. What is that talking about? What? Zechariah 14? Is that what that's talking about? Surely that's what that's talking about. And the Lord said he was going to do it. How could the Lord raise up the Lord? Right? I'm showing you what 1 Timothy 3 is, when it said God manifested himself in the flesh. The Lord did that, not the Ancient of Days. There's only one Lord. You can't get around it. Go to the next one. It's gonna get uglier and uglier, man. I'm just beating you down. Next slide.
I've been at the next slide. Is it lagging or something?
Come. Oh, I don't see it.
It's
I'm on.
Jeremiah 23 and 6 now.
No,
You on Jeremiah
the
20.
next one. The next one. He got to deal with this, right? Isaiah 48 and 16. Come ye near unto me, hear ye this. I have not spoken the secret from the beginning. From the time that was, here I am, and now the Lord God and his spirit have sent me. Right? He got to deal with the who's the me right there. I'm clearly telling you who the me is, right? The ancient of days and the spirit sent me. What is you talking about? Right? So now go to the next slide.
Two minutes remaining.
The King of the glory shall come in. The Lord strong and mighty. Right? I'm gonna take you to a verse to when we get to Isaiah 9 and 6. We're gonna see what's going on with that right there. Right? Next slide. Now he can't. This is where he ain't gonna be able to get around this right here. This is gonna be tough right here for you to get around. All right, now say the Lord reigneth. We know the Lord reigneth because in Daniel 7 and 13 and 14, he got this reign that I'm talking about, right? And then it says he is clothed with majesty. So this Lord is clothed with majesty. Who clothed him? Now you saying if this is the Ancient of Days, you saying somebody clothed the Ancient of Days. You're not even making sense. The Lord is clothed with strength, right? How could the Ancient of Days, who's clothed in the Ancient of Days? From your understanding, this is the Ancient of Days, and you're saying that somebody is clothing him, right? With strength. Come on, man. But this is how you know who the real Lord, who I'm talking about, who it is, right? Because it says clearly where he girdeth up himself and the world established and it cannot be moved. This is talking about him down on the earth, right? This is the Lord of hosts. There's only one Lord, right? This is the same Lord. When he's the Lord of hosts, that's before he manifested into the flesh, right? Now he can't get around this right here, right? That throne is established of old. Ooh. I took you to the verse where he got it from the Ancient of Days. Thou art from everlasting.
Time.
Right? The Lord is from everlasting, not the Ancient of Days is the everlasting. And I land my plane.
All right. We are at the end of the rebuttal round. Great round from both of the contestants, man. I really enjoyed it. I kind of picked up the energy in that. Now we're gonna get to it's a hot seat, right? Is that what we're doing? What we doing? Question like 6 questions apiece, or was it hot seat? Which one y'all was doing?
Yeah, y'all go 10 minutes. 10 minutes back and forth. 10 minutes back and forth.
I thought we got 10 minutes each.
You said 15?
I thought we got 10 minutes each.
Yeah, 10 minutes each to question each other, right? Is that what we talked about? Okay.
Yep. Okay. I got you.
Right, so listen. So Karima, and they'll give like like 30 seconds to ask the question, so you ain't burning out the clock. Can you ask your question within like, I don't know, 30 seconds at the most? Or is that gonna burn up too much time?
Oh no, I can work
Like
with
Kramer,
that.
when they ask the question, can you stop the clock and then start it back up when he asks the question? Can
Yeah.
you do that? Okay, bet. There we go. So you know you can work your question up to like, you know, build up your question like 1 minute. You understand? And then the brother have, you know, 30 seconds, about 30 seconds to answer the question. All right, so Orthodox Moor, you are up to ask Apollo Bay, the Moorish barbarian, the Moorish judicator, the questions for the hot seat.
Yeah, let me get my clock set up right quick. All right, let's go, fam. How you doing? How you doing, Apollo?
I'm good, brother. How you doing?
That's what's up. Appreciate you for being here. Are you familiar with the concept of ontology?
Break it down.
So as I showed in my slide, ontology is the metaphysical concept of studying the nature of a thing or a nature of a being and its attributes. Have you heard of that before?
Uh-huh.
Okay. So do you believe that the Ancient of Days and Lord of Hosts have different ontology, that they have different natures and different attributes?
Yes.
That's what's up. So being that I disagreed with that, I had a few questions I wanted to see if you could answer based upon that ontology, right? So first and foremost, do you have a verse that you can point to where the Lord of Hosts is said to be a servant? Hello?
You said the Lord of Hosts to be a servant?
Yeah, I showed in my slides that the Lord of Hosts had a different ontology than like creatures like the Son of Man and other people you were talking about, based upon the fact that these entities were also called sons, servants, princes, etc. So in that kind, you can prove me wrong on the ontology if you can show where the Lord of Hosts, you have a verse where the Lord of Hosts directly is said to be a servant.
Yeah. Could you go to Second Philippians 2, 5
No,
through 11?
I'm not going to nothing. I need you to read it for me.
Oh, all right. That's the verses right there.
It says the Lord of Hosts is a servant.
It explains every part of the question that you're asking me. It talks about how he stripped himself, that he was God, and he stripped himself down to being a human, right?
Is the phrase Lord of Hosts in that verse there? I don't recall
It
seeing that
says,
phrase there though.
It says Lord Jehovah.
So it doesn't say Lord of Hosts there.
Is Lord Jehovah the Lord of Hosts?
Does it say Lord of Hosts there?
Lord Jehovah is the
I'm
Lord
asking
of
you a
Hosts.
very simple, honest question. Does it say Lord of Hosts in that verse? Yes or no?
No.
Okay. Do you believe the Lord of Hosts has the same ontology as a servant?
Yes, I just told you that he stripped himself down to human status and was around humans.
No, you didn't show the Lord of Hosts that's doing that anywhere. You just said you can't find the Lord of Hosts being a servant in any verse out there. So I appreciate you for that. So do you have any verses that stipulate that the Lord of Hosts is a son in any way, shape, or form?
Are you talking about Yahweh? Are you
No,
who?
I'm talking about the Lord of Hosts. Do you have any verse that specifically says that the Lord of Hosts, not who you believe the Lord of Hosts to be, but directly the phrase, the Lord of Hosts? Do you have any verse in the entirety of the Bible, the Quran, the Circle 7, 3 books, my God? You got it. Head on the chopping block. You got any verse out of all 3 of them that stipulates that the Lord of Hosts is a son in any way, shape, or form?
If I show you in the Circle 7, is you gonna pull it up?
You got a verse that says that the Lord of Hosts is a son in the Circle 7.
It's gonna say the Lord.
It's not going to say the Lord. It doesn't say the Lord of Hosts anywhere in the Circle 7, does it?
Yeah, but it says the Lord.
So you're agreeing with me? It does not say the Lord of Hosts anywhere in the Circle 7.
You're trying to focus on the word host, but host isn't the part of the
So
word.
is the phrase the Lord of Hosts directly in the Circle 7?
Lord is the part that we should be
I'm
focusing on.
asking you a
not host.
simple yes, no question, brother. Can you be intellectually honest or
No,
no? It's
no.
not there. All right, cool. So, do you have a single verse? My head is on the chopping block in the Circle 7, the Quran, or the Bible anywhere specifically that specifies that the Lord of Hosts is a son or shares the ontology of a son in any way, shape, or form.
The only way I could show it to you is if you understand that the Lord is the Lord of hosts.
So, for the record, you cannot show anywhere directly in these three texts that the Lord of Hosts is a son. Appreciate you for that. Can you show me anywhere in these three texts to where the Lord of Hosts is directly called the Malak Yahweh?
John 1:1.
The Malak Yahweh is in John 1:1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was with God. Where is the Malak Yahweh in that verse?
He's the word. Everybody know that the word of God is the king.
Does John 1:1 say the angel of the Lord anywhere? Or the Malak Yahweh anywhere?
I don't believe. This is what I'm trying to say. That's what you believe. You believe he's the angel of the Lord. I don't believe
Hey,
that.
brother, I'm not asking you to argue about your beliefs. I'm asking you to answer questions right quick. Like, so does it say it directly, yes or no? Is it there directly in the text, yes or no?
Of course it's not there. I don't believe that.
All right, cool. Appreciate you. Let me see what else I got here. Do you have a single solitary verse, again, in the Circle 7, the Bible, or the Quran, my head on the chopping block, that stipulates in any way, shape, or form that the Lord of Hosts specifically is a prince?
Once again, you keep asking me for Lord of Hosts, and this Lord of this. You're asking me for the host part. You're acting like that part is the main part. If it's saying the Lord, which is the
So
main
you're
part
saying
of
you can't you're saying you don't have a single verse in any one of the three books that stipulates the Lord of Hosts is a son in any way, shape, or form? Simple yes, no.
no.
I appreciate you for that. So do you have a single solitary verse that stipulates that the Lord of Hosts was born to an earthly mother?
I already told you.
Is that a yes or a no?
Yes.
You have a verse that stipulates that the Lord of Hosts was born from a mother? Can you supply the verse, please?
I told you. Second Philippians.
Where does it say that the Lord of Hosts is born of a mother in Second Philippians?
Second Philippians 5-11.
Where does it say Lord of Hosts anywhere in that section? What verse?
If it was up on the screen, it would be clear. Like when it's my turn, I'm gonna put it on the screen to show how you're
Okay,
acting like
so since
you
you can't
can't
answer the
understand
question, I'm
what's
going to
done.
reclaim my time. So, can you show me any single solitary verse in the Circle 7, the Bible, or the Quran that specifies that the Lord of Hosts died and was raised on the third day?
Second Philippians 5-11.
Can you read where it says the Lord of Hosts anywhere in that chapter, sir?
Second Philippians 5-11.
Where does it say Lord of Hosts in 5-11? What verse?
11.
Can you read the verse for me, please?
Put it up on the screen.
You don't have it you don't have it in your PowerPoint?
You want him to share it? Share it.
So check this
He
out,
wants
man.
you to share. He wants the
Yeah,
people
go
to
ahead.
see it.
I want you to show me Lord of Hosts being born of a virgin, please, and dying and being raised on the third day. I would love to see this. In Philippians 2, let's go. You got it. You can use the rest of my time to show me that.
Brother Ball, could you put
Again, fam, we're my head's on the chopping block. I needed to say the Lord of Hosts was born of a mother and it was died and was raised on the third day in Philippians 2. I'll let that be my final question. When he's done answering, you can go ahead and go to his time.
He answered. You have 4 minutes and 47 seconds.
Brother Amar, could you put 2 Philippians 5:11 on there in the Aramaic Bible in plain English? This is in plain English.
So 3BY, I think he needs you to share his screen for him. There we go.
Yeah, I'm trying to get it to where I don't have to keep sharing and unsharing. Is it only showing the Bible right now?
Yep, you're good.
All right, perfect. You said 2 and
Yeah, 5-11.
5-11.
Okay, I'll read that. And reasons in your soul that also Yeshua the Messiah, which you also said he wasn't the Messiah. Did he who while he was in the form of God did not esteem that as a prize, that he was the equal of God, but he stripped himself and took the form of a servant and was in the form of the children of men and was found in fashion as a man, and he humbled himself and was obedient unto death, even the death of being crucified. Because of this, God has also greatly exalted him, and he has given him the name which is greater than all names. This is the name of Yeshua. Every knee shall bow, which is in heaven and in the earth, which is under the earth, and every tongue shall confess Yeshua the Messiah, the Lord Jehovah. So where does it say the Lord of hosts was born of a virgin, that the Lord of hosts died, or the Lord of hosts was raised on the third day? Anywhere in this, brother?
Like you said, it's my time to speak, right? So clearly, right? It said with everything that I needed to say, right? In the verse, it said that he died, and it said he got crucified, right?
What he, sir?
So
where does it say Lord of hosts anywhere in this chapter? You claimed in front of me, in front of everybody, in front of the God you believe in, that it's going to say Lord of hosts in this chapter. Where does it say it?
You ain't let me finish, brother. You cut me off before
I can read extremely well, and I didn't read Lord of hosts once. It did not come out of my mouth, not once. So where is it in this chapter, brother?
It's cool. It's in bold letters. I don't even know how you could even not understand.
The Lord of hosts is in bold letters. Where? Show me.
So right there says the Lord, you know what I mean, Jehovah. And we
where
know
where does it say Lord of hosts, sir?
Who's Jehovah?
Where does it say Lord of hosts, sir?
I'm just saying, because it got God right there.
You can ask me questions on your time. Right now is my time. Where does it say Lord of hosts?
The Lord of hosts is Yahweh, who is Jehovah.
So are you saying to me you cannot read to me Lord of hosts anywhere in this chapter, that you have to infer another name?
I can't help it that you're slow and you don't know that Jehovah.
Does it say Lord of hosts anywhere on the screen, brother? It's that simple.
I mean, I can't.
Does it say Lord of hosts anywhere on the screen, brother?
It clearly says Lord Jehovah.
So it does not say Lord of hosts anywhere on the screen, does it?
That is the Lord of hosts.
So to be clear, family, to everyone listening, he's trying to die on this hill because he knows that. So now we're playing. Everybody's blind. No one can see that it doesn't say Lord of hosts there.
It doesn't.
They call this hand waving. This particular fallacy kind of called hand waving.
If you knew who that really was, you would understood that it is saying it's the Lord of hosts.
I would know who it was if you could prove the ontology, which you can't. You can't show the Lord of hosts being a son. You can't show the Lord of hosts being a prince. You can't show him being the Malak Yahweh. You can't show him being a servant. You can't show him dying and being raised on the third day. You can't show him being born of a virgin. You have to show me someone else and say that's the Lord of hosts. But you have not proven it anywhere directly. It's just conjecture. And I've given you other options, which means you're giving me a false binary. Which means if you can't prove one of my options to be false, that means you are flat out wrong on your face. So again, does that chapter anywhere say the Lord of hosts? Yes or no?
I don't know what you wanted to say, but the Lord of hosts is clearly Yahweh. I don't know what however you can't understand that. Like, what's wrong with you? If you can't understand that Yahweh and Jehovah is the same, saying the same.
I could understand that if you could show me them having the ontology anywhere, fam. If you could show me the Son of Man, if you could show me the Son of Man and the Lord of Hosts have the same ontology anywhere, I'm down.
I can ask you a question.
On your time, you can, but on my time, you got to show me what I'm asking for, and I'm asking you to show me anywhere in any of the 3 books where the Lord of Hosts is referred to as a servant, a son, a prince, the Son of Man, someone who's born of a virgin, somebody who's died and raised on the 3rd day, and you have not shown it, not one single solitary time. Can you admit, sir, that you are conflating the 2 concepts, that you are inserting this into the text where you cannot find it, where you read yourself, where you're making the argument that, okay, let me ask you this question. Did you show a slide that stipulated that H5946 and H5945 are identical? Yes or no?
They're not identical. One is singular and one is plural.
And that's the problem, family, is we have a reading comprehension issue where my man is reading a false equivalency into the text. Do you know what a false equivalency is, sir?
Put it back on the screen.
Do you know what a false equivalency is?
Is Yahweh and Jehovah the same thing?
You know what this is my time, sir. You can ask me questions on your time. Do you know what a false equivalency is, sir?
Man, you said you was done as soon as you got to this. You said that I could have the rest of your time.
You inspired some questions in me, brother. My fault. I'll have to take that one up with the creator, bro.
Oh, your word ain't your word.
I'll take that up with him. Will you take up with the fact that you completely lied about 2 Philippians and that it does not say Lord of Hosts anywhere in that text?
I can't help that you don't understand who the Lord of Hosts and Yahweh and Jehovah is all the same.
So you're saying if I don't have your understanding, which you can't demonstrate via the text, you got it. I appreciate you.
Time. All right, man. I'm talking about that Orthodox morals putting on the full court pressure.
For real?
Apollo Bay was driven like Kyrie Irving. You know, hey, these boys was playing. That's what I'm talking about. I like to see a goddamn questionnaire like that. So both of these guys is respectful, man. If y'all noticed that, this is a real smooth debate. Because I don't know how this debate go. If I was in the shoes, it wouldn't probably be this smooth just because of my style. But these 2 styles mesh real good because both of them is too cool. Both of y'all is cool, calm, and collective. Yeah, I like it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are down to the bottom of the goddamn fourth round, the questionnaire round, man. Let's get ready for the Morris Judicator. He's going to turn into the Judicator on the Orthodox Moor. You hear me, ladies and gentlemen? So let's get ready. Get your pen. I hope you got your pen and your paper still out, taking notes, because get your questions ready. After the debate, we're gonna go ahead after they close out. If anybody want to come up to the panel and ask questions, we can do that. We can also do the fact checker. I got John Cena hanging out waiting to go ahead and then y'all can ask him and see if we can check each other. You see what I'm saying? But are you ready, Morris Judicator?
Yeah, I'm ready.
You're hyped about this. Hold up, John. Chill out. Yeah. All right. So go ahead, Krim, let them know when it's time starts. Turn it up.
Your time starts now.
Hold on. Could I get my screen up first?
Okay.
Could we go to Genesis 11? Could we get Genesis 11 on the screen?
Everybody hit that like, share, and subscribe while you're getting the screen up. We got some other
now, while he's getting that, I can start my question.
Right,
has the Ancient of Days ever came down on the earth?
Not directly, only through emissaries.
Has the Lord of Hosts ever came down on the earth?
Not directly, only through emissaries.
Okay, only through emissaries, right? So you're saying the Lord of Hosts never had, who you're saying is the Ancient of Days, his feet is never on the earth.
Not directly. If you caught the language where I was using, like, for instance, where you see the anthropomorphic language, like where you see the hand of the Lord, where you see the arm of the Lord, that's the Most High working through his emissaries. Like I showed in my debate, you can clearly see, like in those instances I showed, to where, like, in every instance it was shown Oh, I'm not done answering the question. You answer the question. You asked the question.
You got the answer. You answered it. So, could you, Brother Amon, could you read that for him?
Con. Genesis, you said 11:5.
Yeah, 11:5.
It says, and the Lord came down to see the city and the tower which the children of men which the children of men builded. And the Lord said, behold, the people is one, and they have all one language, and this they begin to do, and now nothing will be restrained from them, which they have imagined to do.
So right there, what is that saying to you? Is that saying that he came down here to see, or what is that saying?
So you're already making a false equivalency. You're trying to say that the Lord there is the Lord of hosts, in which I showed you there's not necessarily a direct equivalence, right? Because you can have the Lord acting through emissaries, and like when he's acting through his emissaries, he puts his name.
Well, who's that emissary right there?
So it's either going to be, like I said, the Lord either acts through angels, prophets, and messengers, or his love.
Hold on, brother Amon, could you click on that for right there, that Lord right there? So we need to see what that is. Because he's saying, now you calling Yahweh an angel.
No, I say he sends angels, man.
No, this says Yahweh came down. You adding angels in there. See, now we seeing who's adding stuff.
So did Yahweh like, so from your paradigm, and I'm not trying to ask questions on your time. So are you saying that Yahweh was in a bush, in a burning bush?
Hey, listen, brother. That you ain't answering me no questions, right? Answer this question right here. Is you calling Yahweh an angel?
No, I'm saying he sends his
angels. So is this Yahweh or isn't it Yahweh?
It's not Yahweh directly, no.
So
just like how in Genesis 19, how you have in Genesis 19, Yahweh raining fire down to Yahweh. We saw that there was fire coming from heaven down to angels on the earth.
All right, stop my time, because he's going on, and that's not what
we stopping time, son?
Yeah, because I'm trying to get to the next question. So the next question is, when you're seeing Yahweh right here, you openly admitted and said that this is not Yahweh. Yes or no?
I said that it's that the Lord, right? That the Most High God, that the Lord of hosts never physically comes to earth. That they come through manifestations and emissaries.
So for instance, 11 is lying.
No,
I don't.
Did you
read a verse? We don't need no for the emphasis. You said that 11, Genesis 11:5, that Moses is lying when he said that Yahweh came down and he seen.
So first of all, that's not Moses talking there. That's a whole nother, like, so this is God and Abram and all them other people. It's the wrong aspect time period of the Bible, right? And so just like
Moses wrote
I'm answering the question, brother man. So just I'm answering the question. You're gonna let me answer the question. But I didn't ask you that. I'm answering the question.
I asked you, Moses wrote
Fall back and let me answer the question, sir. So just like it says to you that my father, like you were not, like I was not known to your fathers by this name, I showed up by Shadael. Who said that? Or El Shaddai, who said that?
You can't ask me no questions, brother.
Exactly. That was an emissary, not the Most High himself.
So you just wanted to ask me a question?
No, there was a rhetorical question, brother. You don't have to answer.
Oh, no. So, no, that ain't how this works. So let's go to.
That's exactly how it just worked.
When Abraham was approached by the three deities, who were they?
Deities?
Whatever you want to call them.
It says they were angels.
Angels? Is that your answer?
It says they were angels.
Could you go to Genesis 18:1? See, this is what happens when you dudes be doing what y'all be doing, right? Y'all just say anything.
Now, I just heard what you said and went to 17. You want 17 or 18?
18. No, 17. My fault. 17. 17. You right. So who came to Abraham? It say Yahweh.
You get three men. You get three men, and then two of them are called angels.
No.
Yes, 100% is the fact.
17 and 1.
17,
Hold on.
18, and 19.
Could you read 17? Could you read 17 and 1
That's
for him?
exactly what it says in Genesis 17, 18, and 19.
Could you read 17 and 1?
Okay. It says, and when Abraham was 90 years old and 9, Yahweh appeared to Abraham and said unto him, I am the Almighty God, walk before me and be thou perfect. And when you
So Yahweh, this is why it always say men is liars and let the Bible be truth, right? Let the scriptures be true. Because this brother just clearly said angels came to him, and then it's Yahweh. I took him to that verse over there. I said, who came down and seen the city? He say angels. Let's say Yahweh.
Clearly proving why right? he reads false equivalencies into the text, because when you go to Genesis 19 and 1, it clearly says that the two that left were angels, does it not?
No, it says right
it
here.
Don't say that it don't say that in Genesis 19:1.
I asked
you lying on the Bible now, fam? You got the nerve to lie on the Torah?
I guessed you. Who
you lied on the New Testament? Now you lying on the Torah, fam?
What did you say?
Didn't it say not to add or take away? Now you lying on it, fam?
It
says in Genesis 19:1
you're talking on my time, brother.
I damn sure am, because it said in Genesis 19:1.
I didn't do that on your time, though. But did I do that on your time?
You was definitely running on my time.
No, I didn't. I
you 100% were. So does it say in Genesis 19:1 that they're two angels?
Stop my time.
Hey, brother, 3BB, can you go to Genesis 19:1, please?
Stop. Nah, he can't go nowhere.
3BY, go to Genesis 19:1. He lying on this thing.
Nobody's listening to you, brother. This is my time.
Let him get his time back.
Talking about go somewhere on his time, man. This dude he's losing it. Right, because I'm taking him to the spot.
Hey, look how scared you are. I let you go somewhere on my time, but you don't want to let me go somewhere on your time.
I don't know. You took all your time. You said you're gonna take that up with the Most High. Remember that? You ain't do nothing. So I don't know.
And I'm not lying on the text like you are.
Now
like you're afraid
again.
You're afraid to show the world you're lying on Genesis 19:1 like a law can't see you.
The world
can see you lying on the Torah, fam.
Yo, put clock my time. He can't talk during my time. I wasn't doing that down, right? So clearly,
swear on a law.
Why you keep talking on my time, yo? Why you keep talking on my time? Why you keep talking on my time?
Let him get his time. Let him get his time. He's taking more of his time. Go ahead.
All right, right there, clearly, I took him to 2 verses, and this is the guy who said that they were angels in all of the verses, but when the verses was actually saying Yahweh, right? So now, could you take him to Numbers 12 and 5? I need probably 5, and I think 11. It might be 8, 10, and 11. I know I need 5.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
We got Numbers 12 and 5. It says, and Yahweh came down in the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth.
So it say in a pillar of cloud, not that he was a pillar of cloud. So once again, I'm showing you right here. Are you saying that Yahweh come down right here?
I specifically read you verses in Acts and verses in Galatians where it reads backwards in the time, where it shows you that and all these theophanies that you're seeing in the text where it says the Lord showed up here, that it was angels doing so on his behalf.
So this is an angel. You're called. Could you please click on that again? Once again,
I'm not saying the Lord is an angel. I'm not saying the Lord is an angel. I'm saying that.
Could you click on that for that Lord right there?
It's the same one.
And show him that it's saying Yahweh. The people need to see this, right? He keep on. Yahweh is in a verse. He's taking Yahweh out the verse and putting angels in there. He's adding, not me. I'm making it clear. He said Yahweh never came down to the earth, and it's clearly these is verses where Yahweh came down to the earth.
Can y'all see? Is my screen lagging?
It's up there right now. It says Yahweh. What does that say? Yahweh came down in a pillar. What is you talking about? Angels. I'm taking it to you in the Hebrew. See, you trying to play some little Christian
Well, since
English
you're not
game.
asking questions, how come you didn't rebut any of this when I actually
taking
put it
you.
to you?
So is this
When I put it
Yahweh
to you
or is
that there
this
was
a?
verses,
I'm
when I
asking
put
you
it
a question right
to
now.
you in my
I'm
premise
asking you
round
a
that there were
question.
verses
I can
that
build my
stipulated that
question up.
all
I
these
got 30
theophanies
seconds
were
to build my
angelic
question up.
representations. You didn't show anything in your rebuttal round to refute anything I said. You
I'm
just
showing
talking.
you right now.
You just talking because you got lips right now, fam. You ain't
No,
got
I'm showing.
nothing.
I'm asking you a question. Is this Yahweh
And I
or angel?
answered the question already. You have yet to disprove the
Could you
concept
just
anywhere
say?
in this
Could you
debate.
say that Yahweh or angel?
I specified that Yahweh does not physically come to earth, that he is seen through emissaries, that the Ancient of
So
Days
this
is
is
not
the
seen,
angel right
that
here.
the Ancient
This
of
is not
Days is
Yahweh
not seen
talking.
coming to earth. It's seen
All
through
right,
emissaries.
could you drop down where Moses calls him God when he asks for him to forgive
Moses is
Miriam?
called God. I showed that. So
No,
what does
he's
that
calling
matter,
Yahweh
fam?
God.
So what does that matter, fam?
He's not calling no angels God.
You're not. See, this is where you keep conflating
Stop playing. You
everything,
stop.
fam.
I'm stopping your plan because you trying to call angels God.
No, I say the angels are sent on behalf of God and they can be called Elohim.
Nah.
I 1,000,000% already showed that, fam.
No, you didn't.
I'll
I'm
show the
showing
verses.
you.
I'll show the verses again in my closing.
That's not.
Since you want to lie for a third time, I'll show the verses again in my closing.
Hey, yo, could you just answer the question?
Apollo, it's still your time. I got Numbers 12 and 13 up. I think that was your last question.
Yeah, 12 and 13. Could you read that for him?
It says, and Moses cried unto the Lord, saying, Heal her now, O God, I beseech thee.
So right there, he just said Yahweh, right? He said, oh God. So that's not no angel right there. He clearly called Yahweh God. So at the end of the day, you got to say that's the Ancient of Days right there that he's talking to. And he's clearly saying that it's Yahweh. Because the Ancient of Days is only in one verse. It's in Daniel 7 and 9 and 7 and 22, where it says that Most High is only in one verse. So right now, you got to say this is the Ancient of Days down on earth talking to Miriam and Aaron, turned Miriam into a leopard, and now Moses is asking her to turn her back. This is what you got to say. You got to deal with this. Now, you said the Ancient of Days never came down on the earth, and this is proving you wrong. Take you to another verse. Let's take him back to the most clearest verse. John 1 and 1. It don't get more clear than this.
What the hell?
I showed him where it say Most High, right? If it's not talking about the one that's in Daniel 7 and 9, that is plural. Say plural gods for anywhere else that it got Most High. Not one. The most infamous, man. You can't get around this, right? Could you read it for him?
It says, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God.
So right there, that's two gods. I don't know man, I don't know what elementary you went to, but if you made it this far and you can't see that it says that word was God, and then when you took me to the words, and then I took you to a verse where it said the Most High was a terrible God.
You don't have to ask me no questions, huh?
No, I'm taking you right here. How many gods? How many gods? How many gods is in the verse?
That's how we do it here.
How many gods is in the verse?
That's your last question.
That's time.
Right, man. What an exciting debate, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, Kareem, get the big screen on 7,000, man, so I can break it down for them real quick. Get the big screen on. Yeah, man, these guys came out ready to rumble, And JJ got his assessment of the debate. I hate to break the news, but I'm about to tell you that both of you guys were wrong, and both of you guys were right. Me and John, we sat back and we analyzed. Oh, let me introduce John real quick. Hey, John, go ahead and give us a breakdown of the debate real quick.
JJ, let's hear John's thoughts.
No. Listen. Remember, I was asking you a question about the Lord of Hosts and the Ancient of Days. Breakdown.
Sorry, I can't help you with this request right now.
We just talked about it.
Anything else I can help you with?
Okay, let me just tell
Wait,
you.
what?
Look, this is what I'm telling y'all real quick. It's all about the matter of interpretation, right? There's scriptures that provide that you can lean towards the way the Ancient Days and Lord of Hosts is the same entity, and there's scripture that can provide and then there's scripture that provide what can lead you to say that the Ancient Days and Lord of Hosts is the same. Now, you have scholars out there like Michael Heiser, who goes with the idea that there's shut up, John. That can y'all hear him? Hold up, y'all. I'm gonna let him talk after the debate. But what I'm saying, both of you guys are right. You both went wrong, so I just said that to be funny. Both of you guys are right. Nobody. It's a matter of interpretations. How you interpret Daniel? What was it Daniel 7-9 or whatever y'all was it, and in other scriptures. I'm gonna let him break it down. He gave me a list of scholars who agree with Apollo's side, and then he gave me a list of scholars who agree with Orthodox Moor side. So nobody's wrong in this debate. Both of you guys were just bringing out your information on the way that you interpret it. All right, so I'm gonna let y'all everybody come up and say what they want to say, but I just want y'all to know that nobody was wrong.
We got to close out first, man.
Oh, okay, my fault. Go ahead. Orthodox Moor, you went first, right?
Yes, sir. Hold on, let me share my screen.
Go ahead and get your closing if you want.
Yeah. 2 seconds here. Let me get my clock right.
So great debate, man. A lot of good information. Yeah, man, it's pretty good. Man, y'all was real cool and relaxed. Wasn't ad hominem. We ain't got to worry about no judges and no poll. Everybody can leave happy.
Let me get my clock right and I'll start this right quick. All right, I'm good. Let's go. So, family, we definitely see that we did not get the questions answered today, right? And so, again, going through the brother's paradigm, he was coming to representing that the Ancient of Days was different than the Lord of Hosts, and he did so based upon these different groupings here. That consistently that he believed that Yahweh was, or the Ancient of Days was consistent with Yahweh Elohim, Elyon El, is the Father, is not a king, is the Creator, is invisible. The Lord of Hosts, he believed was to be consistent with Yahweh in the singular, Elohim in the singular, Allah of the Quran, is the Son, Son of Man, is the King, like Yahweh, etc., is an instrument of the creation, and is the Messiah. I came representing the concept of the Ancient of Days being the same as the Lord of Hosts and consistent with Yahweh, Elohim, Yahweh, Elyon El, Allah, Adonai, is the Father, is the King, which I showed in Source of Dominion, which I showed, is the Creator, is never a son, which was never demonstrated that it otherwise, is never a prince, which was never demonstrated otherwise, and is never an instrument of creation, which is never demonstrated otherwise, and is seen through his emissaries. No counter. I was not cornered anywhere on that, fam. Anywhere on that. So if my answers was, I just don't, my answers or his answers to my questions, I just don't agree with you. Okay. Prove me wrong though. Prove me wrong and do so via the ontology, fam. Again, we saw where he went off the mark. His basic premise was a conflation in the text. What I completely showed you was a false equivalence fallacy. And like I said, his arguments were going to be based on fallacies, right? He believes that these two words here means that they're two separate deities, even though it's the same word, one in Hebrew, one in Aramaic. Again, and what he just provably lied on was that in Genesis 19, he said these weren't angels. That these weren't angels. And this shows the conflation. Again, Yahweh showing up is what it says in the text. But when you see someone in the text, it says that they're men and that they're angels. So again, like I said, Yahweh shows up through his emissaries. Through his emissaries. Like I said, they could be angels. They could be messengers. They could be prophets. They could be the law. They could be the commands of the Most High. But his emissaries are how he interacts with the world. And this is a clear example to where he couldn't understand how that works. And the text is showing it. It's directly showing it to him. Otherwise, he has to say that these two angels are also Yahweh. And that messes up the whole thing because there's three that come down. And in his version, they all stay down. There's a fourth one in heaven in his version of the story. And again, I'll show this clearly. Now I'll show it again, where again, you didn't catch the anthropomorphic language of the hand and the arm of the Father being how he interacts with the world through his emissaries. And I showed clearly, again, where he's talking about scattering enemies, taking people out of Egypt, etc. The whole time period in the Bible part you're talking about, right, in the Old Testament. And I clearly show how in the New Testament is saying that it's angels doing all this stuff. The law is given through the angels. It's an angel showing up in the burning bush. All that type of stuff, fam. It's showing you in the Old Testament, it's angels bringing you forth out of Egypt, all that type of stuff, fam. But you have to isolate verses like I was saying. I already showed this part. I ain't got to jump into that, fam. Your whole joints was killing you, fam. You didn't understand things were identical. And this is the one that really kills it. Your own slide showed that I was correct on the Lord of hosts not being a human monarch, therefore not having the same ontology as the Son of Man or the Davidic king in any way, shape, or form. It's not possible. You lost right then and there from your own clip. You cheddar bobbed yourself, fam. You cheddar bobbed yourself, fam. Again, this whole debate comes down to ontology. Ontology. Do they have the same nature? And no, they don't. A father doesn't have the same nature as a son. A king doesn't have the same nature as a prince. It's not the same thing, fam. It's not the same thing. Hence, my premise was this: the Ancient of Days is, and the Lord of Hosts share the same ontologies, share the same nature, which I showed. I showed that they're both judging from a throne, and they give kingdoms to a son, to a Davidic king. You don't see the Son of Man doing that. He receives the kingdom. That's why I said, you got your man giving himself a kingdom? You got your man sending himself as an angel? That's crazy. Premise 2, the Ancient of Days and the Lord of Hosts both operate at the top position of the theological hierarchy within the text. Again, my man can't understand that somebody sending somebody makes you above that person in this hierarchy. So when Yahweh sends an angel, he's above that angel. Hence, that angel is his emissary, not operating on his own. Premise 3: the Ancient of Days and the Lord of Hosts don't share the ontology of their emissaries, i.e., are never textually referred to as either sons or princes, etc. Hence, you didn't see any of that answered anywhere during my Q&A. Conclusion being, the Ancient of Days is the Lord of Hosts. And like I said, you're going to see this from him. I showed it to my counter premise. He made me a prophet. I said that he arrived at his unique Benitarian conclusion by isolating verses from the scriptural context, which we just saw there. He wanted to tell you Genesis 19 had nothing to do with 18 or 17, fam. And it literally said there were two angels. We just saw it in real time. Counter premise 2, Apollo Bay also arrived at his conclusion by introducing foreign concepts from unauthorized text. I showed that clearly via the methodology of the Moorish American and Muslims and whatnot, and we can make that the basis of our next debate if you want to, fam. Counter premise 3, and this was shown to everybody, clear as day. A blind person could see this. Apollo Bay, through eisegesis and conflation of the text, is cherry picking, making false equivalencies, and repeatedly offering false binary choices and false dichotomies. Conclusion being, Apollo Bay's theological hierarchy and unique Benitarian concepts are built on fallacious arguments. Built on fallacious arguments. And again, I don't even have to get into this part because he didn't answer none of this stuff. None of my questions got answered. None of it. None of it. But I want to say this again. I want to end this here because this was the whole impetus to this whole thing, right? Was the fact that the important aspect of this debate was the fact that he was not talking about what Noble Drew Ali told him to talk to Israelites about. He's forcing this fake Benitarian doctrine that he cannot prove and stand on in any way, shape, or form from his text, the Quran or the Bible. And he's not telling Israelites around him, hey, you need to fix up, fam. You need to purify. You need to get ready to meet your king. Appreciate you for your time, fam.
Time. Hold up, John. Don't say nothing yet. Don't say nothing yet. Oh man, great. Hey, brother, great closing. Great, stuck to your guns, what you was here for. Now we got the Morris Judicator getting ready to do his closeout, and then we're gonna take questions from the audience, and then I'm gonna let hey John, I'm gonna let you say yours last, okay?
Sounds like you've got a good structure for the rest of the event. JJ, you're going to wrap up your points, open it up for questions from the audience, and then give John the last word. That's a great way to engage everyone and give everyone a chance to share.
All right, wrap it up. All right, that's what we're gonna do. He can talk, man. Look, they calling me now. Go chill, bro. But look, so now we getting ready to let the Morris Judicator. Let me tell. Hey, John, go ahead and just listen, and then he gonna wrap it up. He gonna tell y'all both perspectives. Like I say, man, I both of y'all are right, okay? And then John's gonna break it down where it's a matter of interpretation. He's gonna give you the scriptures that interpret it as two beings and then one. And y'all got to just argue with the scholars. You put the two best scholars up, and I'm trying to find a debate. I'm trying to find a debate where one is the viewpoint of, they're one deity, and then the other one with the viewpoint of they're two. I know Michael Heiser's one of the scholars that go for two, and I can't remember the other guy's name, but I already got it loaded up, so it's going to be a great finish. Go ahead, Apollo. Do you think?
Thanks. Good looking, JJ. Now, I don't know what type of word salad and what type of wine that he had with it, but he clearly doesn't understand nothing that I'm saying. The fact that he said Trinitarian, when I'm saying that they're separate, it makes no sense, right? Trinitarians say they're all one. I'm the one that's saying that they're separate. You're the one that's saying that they're one. Like, let's understand who got the Trinitarian part of this, right? So at the end of the day, we're gonna get clear understanding, because I never, and anybody who ran this back, I never said that Jesus was an angel, right? Or the Messiah was an angel at no time. He keeps saying that because he think that's what I'm saying. Somehow, I don't know. He not listening to exactly what I'm saying. Brother Amon, could you please put Revelations 22 in the Aramaic Bible in plain English? Because it said that Jesus sent an angel. You said that if somebody sends an angel, then they're higher than the angel. That's what you said. So we're going to go back to you somehow, you know what I mean? This is crazy. And this is so easy, right? Could you go to verse 16 for him? Because he didn't understand what that was saying.
Yeah, you want me to read it too?
Yeah, could you read it for him? Because he's acting real slow.
It says, I, Yeshua, have sent mine angel to testify these things among you. Before the assemblies, I am the living God, the root and the offspring of David, and his companion, and the bright and morning star.
All right. So that right there is explaining a lot of stuff right there, right? The root and the offspring of David. He said he's the root, right? So we getting clear of when you're saying you're the root of something. Then he said he's going to send his angel to testify. What is you slow or something? You keep saying something about Jesus being the angel, and no, it said he's going to send his angel, right? And then at that, when it's saying you just put your Ray Charleses on where it said I'm the living God in bold letters, you just totally put your Ray Charleses on there and act like that when he said that right there, he wasn't talking about the Ancient of Days, right? And that's clear. Then I took you to, but we go back to the slide that got the Daniel 7 in the blue letter, because this is going to make it clear. There's no way getting around who this Most High is, right? He's trying to make where it say plural Most Highs. He's trying to make that one. He's the debate. He's doing it. He's even doing it when I show him slide to saying it's not one. Right? Because we gonna be clear on this. Ain't no we both right. We can't both be right. The next slide. No, I think it's the next one.
Let me try and make it a little bit bigger. Right here.
This is clear, man.
This is what you want.
Yeah, right there. There's not. Listen, bro. Right? Could you move it up so we can see the box?
Yeah, there you go. Can you see it?
I don't. All right. Now, let's be clear, right? The Most High, E-Elyon, that's the word that I clicked on. E-Elyon, the Most High, right? It's only, when it's talking about the Ancient of Days, it's only in Daniel 7 and 18, 7 and 22, 7 and 25, and 7 and 27. That's it. There ain't no other Most Highs where it's linked to the Ancient of Days. No. And then it's showing you that anywhere else did this say the Most High? It clearly says plural of God. This, how? This ain't no Trinity, nothing. I'm showing you separate, right? Plural of God. He's showing the plural. He wants to talk about the plural. The plural only works in his verses. Anywhere he take me where it say Most High in the Bible, it's going to be talking about a plural of the Most High, right? H5945, plural. This is clear, right? But I'm showing you in Daniel 7, it's saying Most High, one Most High, right? Clear, one, right? The Ancient of Days, he's one, not multiple. How he's trying to put the Lord of the Hosts with the Ancient of Days, you're doing that. And when you do that, you're doing that what's up in H5945 when you're putting them together, plural, right? When I'm talking about it singular, we're talking about this one right here. It's only one time. Quit playing, right? This is clear. Now we're going to deal with 1 Timothy, you know what I'm saying, 3 and 16. So it's just clear. Like he could beat around the bush. You know what I mean? He could say whatever he want to do. But this is clear.
It ain't zooming in and out the same. Okay, there we go. See what that do. There you go. Can y'all see that nice and big?
I'm gonna read it from the TV because so there's a little bit delay. And it say without, or you could, or it don't matter. You could read it or it don't matter. Oh, you can read it.
Yeah, it seemed like it's going faster sometimes when I'm reading it because I'm not having no delay. You see what I'm saying? So it says, and without controversy, great is the mystery of godliness. God was manifest in the flesh, justified in the spirit, and seen of angels, preached unto the Gentiles, believed on in the world, received up into glory.
Now he said there's only one